Okay, so that brings us to... move my computer slightly out of the way so I actually can see myself. Brings us to session number 105, or Phase 3, Season 1, Episode 16. And so it has been an interesting ride for the characters so far. They have dealt with their first war, where they were caught in the middle of trying to preserve their adopted country, which is Darrican, from annihilation by the Master, where the Master doesn't even think of Darrican as something he's invading, just something he's trying to pass through. And after they managed to bring him to a stalemate, they've gone and visited the northern reaches, where they have learnt about the various cults. Though I'm sure I've skipped a few steps here and there. But that's the crux of the update of the story there. And now they've returned to Karamikos to seek out the hill giants so they can find out what's going on there. Because funky things are happening in the giant world right now. So I will get the people online to introduce themselves first. Well, because they're online. We'll start off with Ross.
Yes, I play Yodri, the swashbuckling warlock sorcerer. Basically, he's currently excited but a little bit nervous. He's now going to be looking at people that are even more taller than these current giants that he's with at the moment.
Well, you do have Calcrix back in the group, and she is a lot taller than she was.
Yeah.
You could quite easily sit on her head without causing too much weight.
Hey, I have a dragon mount.
And next online we have is M.
I'll make it nice and quick because I'll have to go quiet in a minute. I am Sol, your ever-lovable cleric wizard with my menagerie of animals. And that's about it.
And I'm sure they'll have fun this session.
Sorry. I could wait.
And next one up online we have is Josh. Maybe. Josh is not actually online at the moment. He'll be back in a little while. But he was appearing later in this episode. At the table today we have Jeff.
Gary.
Sorry, my names are terrible at stuff and I write the wrong name down on a regular basis.
Playing Anton, the Treladaran warlock, who's joined the most fun cult in the world, the Cult of the Black Earth, where there's joy to be found in hard work.
Sarcasm completely left out, but fully intended.
Accompanied by Proshka, who's far more charismatic than I am.
Yes. We need to get you a little Proshka representative.
A Proshka doll toy would be good.
Like we have the Calcrix, thanks to Ross.
We have a few different things floating around. And lastly today at the table...
Have we done Ross?
We have.
Okay.
Lastly today at the table we have Ariadna.
You always say Ariadna, but it's actually Calcrix. So when we get to the table, it is... I can't reach her because I stuck her way over that way for some silly reason. Not just by the nose. It's Calcrix, the white dragon with the jazz wings.
And
the mostly white dragon with the jazz wings, and over Christmas a Tyrannosaurus Rex covered in tinsel and some bling. She was originally part of this group way back in the day. When they rescued her, she's since gone off on adventures and recently returned at the bidding of the Dark Queen and the Lady of Shadows, so that she could help be a connection with this group between their various cults and assist them on their quest. She's accompanied by Eep, her plant-like looking carnivorous plant who lives on one of her horns and is known to say, for the most part, Eep, but occasionally by Gorm, and very disturbingly, on a very, very rare occasion, kill the infidels. But no one's bothered by that because she's very cute and you often see her eating a cookie or drinking a little mini coffee. So, you know.
Of course, her ability to turn people into cookies hasn't been discovered yet, but I'm sure they'll find that out later.
That's part of their healing properties. Don't tell anyone. Her other companion, Grindelwald Brewmeister, is currently on her homelands and helping her build up or develop a magical coffee bean that can be fed to the soldiers when they next go to battle with the Master, so that they can heal with their morning cup of joe. Which is pretty much what real coffee does in real life, right?
And it does, and it actually, I found out you started playing Calcrix 4 years ago now.
Yep.
So you've had 4 years with the character.
So it only took you 20 out of the 24 years that we've been together to break me down and finally get me to go roleplay.
Well, I did get you to actually start playing the year before, so...
Yeah, that's true.
19.
19. You did say I'm stubborn, but mostly in a good way.
And we also now have Josh back again, so he did appear
Yay.
later in the episode.
Shabbat.
I did. I play Cheval the Paladin.
That sounds like enough A's.
Yep, it definitely sounds like enough A's.
Mm.
I did hear from the other room that Em introduced herself as a wizard cleric. Correction on that. Failed ranger.
Failed ranger.
Yeah, it started off as a ranger.
If Calcrix is there, she's going to swat at Cheval for teasing poor Zal, but then she's going to hug him so tight, he's just like, I need to breathe.
Well, I'm sure Zal won't mind being hugged that tightly.
Zal will be hugged that tightly too.
Because Chevel's a she.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
sorry.
Cheval is a she.
I do mix that up.
Yes. So do I, but I always find it funny when I get it wrong and I'm the one who's supposed to remember it all.
I would last 2 seconds in an awareness conference.
Okay, so...
Cheval is a fire genasi paladin. Blessed, I'd say at this point in time, by her god, now Archangel, pretty much. Morals to the party will be checked at a later date.
Morals of your morals or our morals? Just-
Yes.
Yes, yeah, okay. It's that vague.
Yes, the answer is yes to that.
Yes.
Some morals may be checked at some point.
Yes.
Calcrix is kind of at a stage of who's
The,
checking who's
the answer
morals
is
now?
7.
7. 42. You almost got it right. It's 6 times 7.
I'm coming off nights, so I divide by 6.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so yes, you are... couldn't exactly remember where we ended you last session, and I didn't watch the end of it.
We
But
were
I
at
assume-
Karamine.
In
Karamikos.
Karamikos,
Yeah.
and I believe you're at the city of Calvin. I'm
Yes.
not sure if you
Yes,
actually left
that's right.
it, but that's where my memory said you were. Not guaranteed you actually were there.
That's my last note.
So I did remember. I just didn't keep the notes.
I wrote down Patriarch of the Church of Karamika. I can't remember if he's the good guy or the bad guy.
For you, he's the horrid person. that
He's
you
the
really
evil
wanted to tear
bastard.
down.
Okay.
Though, to be honest, it was his father that
Damn
was
it,
the horrid
Calcrix.
person you really want to tear down.
Well, you know.
The son, not as bad as the father, but very preachy.
I think if I've written it and I've got it correctly, we're in Norvik. Would that be roughly?
That was where you started last session.
Oh, that's where we started last session. Okay, so as far as I know, we ended up... we went to Kelvin, and then you said you're going to put us at the city we're supposed to be in.
That was Calvin.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, Calvin is a religious city where spellcasting is prohibited.
Calcrix is kind of in trouble.
Magical races are generally restricted or prohibited.
Calcrix is definitely in trouble.
Other religions beside the Church of Karamikos is prohibited.
Oh, absolutely.
When we were here previously, wasn't the presence of Drazzle enough to keep people away from annoying us?
That was when you were in the city of Speculum.
Oh, okay, a different one.
That one's a little more cosmopolitan. And even why they frown upon the other religions, they're accepting of it, whereas this place is built around the oppression of everyone else.
Okay.
Because the founder was very Thyatian, which meant Roman colonizational attitude of my religion's best to use that.
Okay. I'm just thinking, do I need to disguise myself? But do these guys have, constant detect magic going on? It's like, oh, that one's got magic going.
Would the Black Earth outfit or cloak, like the cult cloaks or outfits, if they're being made to wear them, would they just say religion rather than magic?
It wouldn't say the right religion.
Okay, alright.
So for this one city, they're very much about our religion first. Everyone else's go somewhere else.
Are we at Knights River Inn?
Which is on the outside of the city.
Calcrix would go up and ask if there's some sort of cloaks she could hire or buy for her party members.
You didn't actually have to go into the city.
Oh, okay.
It's just basically this was the
this
city.
is just the description.
This was where you were connected to be able to travel off into the wilderness. I shall bring up a map, which will help.
Sorry. I thought we had to make our way through here to get to where we're going.
Yes, I had the same assumption.
And I'm like, we need cover-ups.
But knowing how bad the place is does help. So there is a mouse over. I will make it.
So the anti all religions except for which one?
The Church of Karamikos, which is the Thaiasian pantheon.
Yeah. It's not the one I was born into, so I'm not happy.
Well, technically you were born into this one unless your character is more than 80 years old.
Okay, well I've got down follower of the Church of Traladaran.
Which is basically the beliefs of the people, but they have been ruled over for over 100 years now.
We're suppressed, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Bastards.
Ruled over and suppressed are the same words, just slightly different pronunciations.
Okay.
Or if Ariadne needed it, I got that.
Oh, thank you. I should grab my spells. Just in case I have to show these anti-religious, anti-magic people why magic sometimes helps.
Oh,
If coffee doesn't work.
They have clerical magic done by the priests of the Church of Karamikos.
So our cleric will help us out. Maybe.
Just that they have their dogma, and nearly most of the rest of the country think they're idiotic. But it's also the cleanest, safest, calmest city of the nation.
How strongly and effectively they police their requirements? Like if I go around with disguised self and try to be just be part of the lower classes.
If they detect you using magic, it's jail time.
Yeah, I'd
years.
say they probably have to
I just think I'd be
magic.
a bit obvious is the only thing.
That kind of dogma.
You can walk around as a Traldaran because there are more Traldarans in the city than there are Thaiasians.
Even though I'm quite distinctive.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So being able to walk, if you put on that helmet, then definitely the Thaiasians wouldn't probably even notice at all. But the majority of the population would be running in fear, screaming.
Okay, well I will just try to keep out of people's way and not draw attention to myself.
But you didn't actually have to enter the city, which was your benefit.
Yep.
And you were planning on heading up the road to Penhaligon and then follow the river into the mountains.
Okay.
By starting at Kelvin, it gave you a chance if you needed to pick up supplies or anything before you left. It is the biggest, so Kelvin is there.
Yep.
How well are we
there.
stocked when it comes to supplies?
No chance of reading that.
Okay, give me a
I'm going to
sec.
have to get a book of maps. If there is such a thing.
There we go. I think.
It'd be like a 5,000 page book. Oh, yep, I see.
There we go.
Oh, it's spelt almost phonetically.
While I try to phonetically say
It's
them.
Kelvin's book Kelvin. Oh, okay. I've misspelled it.
And
Yeah,
the-
it's literally like the name Kelvin.
Yeah, I was thinking like Calvin Klein.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Calvin.
And Highforge is the Gnomish kingdom,
Okay.
and Raphilion is the Elvish kingdom,
Okay.
and they are subservient to the Duke.
So which river we're following? Castellan or
The
High Follow?
get to the High Reach River.
High Reach River, okay.
So you can go straight up and follow it that way, but it's much faster to follow it around to Penhaligon and then across into...
Okay.
Hopefully my memory's right, but is this the same Duke we talked to before we ended up in that weird other world full of all the vampires and things?
It might be, yes.
Yeah.
How much away?
So we know this Duke then. The group does.
He's probably the nicest of the rulers of the nation, as he, while he's seen to favour Thaiations over Troldarans, the Troldaran people. By perception, most people who meet him realise he's fairly fair, and as powerful as you are now, you would know that he would be fairly fair. Just that he is a representation still of the Thaiatan Empire.
Yeah.
And is a vassal kingdom to it.
Okay. Yeah. So still keep a low profile, keep my nose clean, all the rest of it.
Did anyone want to grab anything before heading off to meet the giants?
I do. It doesn't have to be extensive, but if I could just say something like I go to the markets and collect all the various bits that I might need for spells, everything from like a little packet of salt to if I can find any toys or curios, if you wanted to do some sort of possible entertaining scene, a little toy shop that Calcrix and Eat go into, and anyone else who wants to come.
Well, I would say that Colin should have something like that.
It doesn't?
The ruler is very boring.
No markets, no children's toys?
All the children's toys come from Highforge. So the gnomes come and sell, but they don't have a shop.
Okay.
So it's very bland on the outside in the city.
Are there any gnomes guys nearby?
The gnomes try not to stay there because they don't want to look up to everyone.
So it's not a gnome day. She can't.
There's always gnomes around, but they try to head off before the end of the day. And they live outside the city, not in the city.
We're going to be foot slogging our way this time, aren't we? So we're going to need supplies.
And you can also get mounts as well.
I don't have a good history of mounts.
Griffins particularly.
No, griffins. Like I'll ride on the cart with Drazzle if you'll have me.
You do see that in the city of Calvin, the Griffin riders here are held in highest esteem.
Okay.
But they are also the military branch of the Church of Karamikos.
Okay. Some people will be happy there.
And you know them well. The Order of the Griffin are very holier than thou sort of people, but they don't suppress the Troldarans.
Okay, so they're not entirely bad.
They're the sort of people that if a Troldaran says there's a problem and a monster's attacking, they will go and slay that monster or die trying.
Okay. All right. I won't be too resentful toward them.
Though they do fly above everyone away from most everyday issues, as they're the scouts as well as the special forces of the nation.
Fine, that means I can get by without drawing notice. I'm quite happy with that.
And most of them are paladins.
Yeah. Well, I've got a paladin. We've got a better paladin than their paladins, I bet.
So you can understand exactly why that has been one of their central places. Why they're a stickler for the rules here.
Okay. But coming back to my first question, do we need supplies?
Some of you should have some. Most of you should be able to get basic provisions from Redrian. Restock your provisions.
All right. So restock provisions.
Unless you want to do a specific scene.
I really wanted to go to the markets, but I'll live without it.
Did you want to get something to trade the giants with?
Well, I was just looking. Markets are just good places to get information from.
But you'd think the estate of Penhaligon would probably have better markets to get information from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
And you can't portal there, so that's why
that was
this
my
is the
thought.
closest
Was
point.
you
Yeah,
know
okay.
I'll get basic supplies and hopefully Penhaligon will have both better markets and more information.
They also have the most direct contact with the giants.
Okay, so it sounds like we can do it there. Maybe get some tasty morsels, some treats and tidbits for Proshka.
We are the tasty morsels.
Oh, this is for Proshka. Proshka's quite small.
If you mention that out loud, Calcrix hands you a cookie.
Okay,
To give
I'll
you
break it in bits.
Calcrix just hands you 2 more cookies.
Okay.
So that you don't have to
Proshka's
break
not
them
very
up.
big.
That's okay. She can do. She?
I hadn't thought about it. He?
He?
It just
can
looks at you and just
He
shrugs.
can
He doesn't care.
just do what Eat does, which is hold onto the big cookie and just nibble on it.
Or just lick
Okay,
it.
Proshka.
Yeah.
Proshka understands what's saying. I'll just let Proshka work out how best to eat a cookie.
His best way of eating the cookie is making sure he gets all the crumbs over you.
Okay, that's fine.
Calcrix
So you
is
can sit
kind
on my
of-
shoulder and eat and bring cookie crumble.
That way he's got crumbs for later.
Calcrix
Okay.
is torn between the wasted cookie, but the delight of crushing a cookie and then just throwing it all over someone and then licking it up
Look,
later.
I'm decorated by cookie
Yeah.
crumbs.
That's what I mean. She's like conflicted. She's like, oh, poor cookie. But, oh, what fun.
Okay, we're sorted then.
Okay, so yes.
Red Lab Keep, I think is where.
You've been to Red Lab Keep before.
Is that the
It
Duke's one?
It's one of the Duke's Keeps.
Yeah.
It's when you went all the way over here on the map. So it's down this side.
Okay, yeah.
That's it there.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's part of the Duke's lands, and that's where we kind of came in contact with the Duke in the past.
Well,
Might
you
help
went
us.
by his city.
Yeah.
His city is down here. That's where you came in, at the bottom here. the
Oh, I
red.
see. Yep.
So you went down the
Specular.
western road.
Yep.
So
But this time we're going in
you came
relation to that.
into the city of Kelvin and you're
We
going
went
up.
down. This time we're going up. Okay, that gives me a good idea of where we are.
And to give you a point of interest, the village, the town of Threshold is the iconic starting location of Mystara.
Okay. Town of which one?
Threshold.
Threshold up there. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So for Anton, that would be the one place in the entire area where the Patriarch of the Church of Karamikos is more than happy to bless people in the name of the Church of Traldara.
Okay. So
I
Threshold's
kind
a
of
good
want to
place.
visit there at some point, but we're on a quest right now. So
And,
we
Well,
can't.
we're busy.
and his daughter is one of the major leaders of the Order of the Griffin.
Oh.
So that's partly why the Order is so benevolent towards Traldarans.
Okay. all
Because his belief is that it was their nation, they need to be part of whatever nation it becomes.
right. Okay.
And he's one of the 3 leaders of the Church of Traldara.
Okay.
Church of Karamikos. He also does double duty in the Church of Traldara as well, but that's partly because he's happy to look after more than one religion.
Okay. Yeah.
Calcrix really wants to go there, even though she doesn't follow the religion. I'm making a note. Maybe downtime.
Okay, so yes, you can take by foot, by animal, by boat, by cart.
What's the fastest way?
Fastest way would be teleportation, but you don't have that available to you.
Okay, the fastest way available to us. Should start us with that.
Magic always solves many problems.
Okay.
You've got griffins, and you can just ride griffins there.
I was going to say perhaps flight, because outright magic would probably get us killed or chased.
I don't know if we have enough griffins, and also some of
We
us
do.
can't ride griffins.
You could ride me.
You sure?
Yeah,
You trust me to
I'm a
ride
large
you?
creature.
Okay.
Many people have ridden me in the past.
All right.
It's not like, you know, a mount horse rider thing though. It's something I allow you to do, not something that is expected to be done.
I'm worried about falling off, so I'm not keen.
No one's fallen off. I have a saddle.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say, I have a hammock I carry you underneath. But why?
That would be kind of cool, but
really?
probably scary.
Well,
a little bit.
It means that they're not
Awkward.
sitting on top of you.
I need to find a way to get
I'm
feather
okay with
fall
that.
because I seem to be flying all the bloody time.
I have good reflexes.
Okay, so yes, you start heading out by flight, assuming that Sal is happy to have her griffins all used and leaving the followers who are using their griffins behind here to make their way slowly.
I'm presuming my drakes aren't with me right now.
They can be, but they can't fly.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm just presuming that they're yeah.
What happened there?
So, I believe M is currently busy at this stage.
Maybe putting Mia to
Emmy's
sleep.
busy. She has message saying, "Let them walk. It's good for them."
So, if not
I'm happy
flying-
to walk. I trust my feet.
Is that a joke? Let them walk. It's good for them.
Well, it also means she gets to ride her mounts instead of leaving them behind.
I feel like Drazzle could probably put them on the carts, but
I'm happy to ride in the cart with Drazzle.
we can walk.
Yeah, he doesn't talk much.
I know he doesn't talk much. I've learned that. I ask questions and I get strange answers.
You get answers?
Well, I get a response, which doesn't necessarily answer the question.
It doesn't
Is it
fully answer the question, but in a technicality of the statement of answer, it is an answer.
Yeah, exactly.
If we're walking, can I just make a note of how long it might take us?
Well, normal animals, it would take you 3 days to reach the estate of Penhaligon.
It's just because you give us like game dates and things like that,
Yep.
and it helps me. keep track of
Because the
that.
current game date is the 6th day of the 8th month of the year 1010 after the crowning of the first Emperor of Theatus.
You mean in this world it's 5 days away from my birthday? What a way to have more than one birthday.
What's the scenery like?
The scenery is, well, the first day of scenery, one side of you is a moor, which is named after the city of Kelvin. Well, technically the founder of the city of Kelvin.
Yeah.
But most people want to ignore him because he was a bit of a tyrant.
Oh, not another one.
I'm guessing.
Well, when I said that the current leader's dad was not as nice a person,
Yeah.
the son is more mellow.
Yeah.
The previous one was very much the tyrant.
Mm.
Not as bad as the Black Eagle Barony's tyrant, who's still a tyrant. Who currently has the Wizard Bargle, which is a name that would make your character spit on the ground in disgust with every time you hear it.
Okay. Well, I'm taking the scenery for once. Instead of having to fly, I'm appreciating walking.
So on the other side of the road is the Hillfollow River, and just waiting for the groaning to get through.
What skill would you use if you tried to fish?
You would basically use
Survival, I
a
suppose.
tool or
Oh,
just
tool.
fishing.
I didn't have either.
So most of them would have, because there are tools for everything.
Yeah.
You could just get a fishing set and use that.
With no skill or no knowledge at all, I don't bother. I just look in the water, see if I see a fish occasionally.
Well, there would be lots, but there's also lots of halflings.
Halflings, okay, they're fishing on the fish. Okay.
The halflings are the bargemen of the
Oh,
area.
okay.
Their homes are on the river.
Okay.
They don't trust the tall folk to actually live on land.
Fair enough.
There's a good reason for that.
Well, there's a lot that's happened. I can sort of see why there'd be historical distrust.
And they are masters of the water.
Okay.
So they also sink the other people's boats if people try to encroach on their territory.
So they're not interested in chats then?
Oh no, they're more than happy to chat.
Okay,
They'll
okay.
chat your ear off.
All right, okay.
Just if you try to steal their livelihood, they'll sink your boat.
Well, there's no chance of me doing that. So.
Well, hey, you wouldn't want to steal someone's lifestyle.
Okay.
So they live by the river trade.
Okay.
So you can pretty much buy anything and everything you want on the riverbanks.
My ugly looks don't give them any problems.
They don't care about your looks.
Okay, fine.
They will trade with anyone who doesn't have a reputation of attacking them.
Okay. Well, I'm just more interested in chatting and gossip.
And as far as you're concerned, the halflings are native to this region.
Yeah.
And you have no idea how many generations back it goes from when they actually entered.
Okay. They seem completely at home on the water, so it makes sense.
And on the other side of Kelvin, where is my thing? So this area here is the Goblin Forest.
Okay.
The Dimrak Forest is one of those places you don't want to go unless you have to. You're probably of a high enough level you wouldn't worry about the body count of goblins of going in there. But you also wouldn't really want to be responsible for that many deaths just because you're there, encroaching on their territory.
We've got no need to go there, no reason to. Yeah. Good enough.
I was going to say, let's put it this way. If Halcrix was of evil alignment, she'd experiment to see if coffee has the same effect it does on goblins as it does on pixies, and leave a bag of coffee there and then just run off and let the death happen.
So what effect does coffee have on pixies?
They become psychotic because it
Yeah.
acts as a hallucinogen.
Oh, okay.
It has the same effect on axe beaks.
But that's
so-
only after a
That's
week of
okay.
coffee.
It's
Yeah.
not only pixies we need to be worried about.
Yeah.
Keep
So
it away from the bird.
Chocobo, M's axe beak, has a very special coffee. Halcrix gives her cinnamon milk, but calls it coffee.
And they didn't
okay.
realise what was going on because the bird was getting more and more psychotic
Yeah.
as the game was going on.
Yeah.
And when they eventually did speak with Animal to find out what it was, why it was so
Why?
squawking at them,
Yeah.
and it kept saying, "Coffee, coffee, 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 give me coffee. I must have coffee. Coffee now. Where's my coffee?" And it just wouldn't stop until they went, "Oh."
It wasn't just
I think-
getting
I think-
more
I think- I
frantic,
think in
but
the end
there
I
was a
cast-
body
I
count that was
casted-
going up.
Yeah, I casted Lesser Restoration on it and it just collapsed.
Yep. Because it been going for a week straight, no sleep, on just coffee beans. Because Zal was feeding it coffee beans as a treat.
Chocolate coffee beans, but
Chocolate coffee beans, okay.
the things we bring from this mundane world into the RPG world.
Well, hey, you can do whatever you like in the game and things will happen.
Okay. Proshka, you're restricted to cookies. Just cookies.
Your cookies don't have coffee in them.
He just gives you that look of, well, I'll probably just, get what I want anyway.
Oh, well, if you steal some coffee beans, there's not much I can do about that.
Well,
On your head.
he is more of a dragon than a pixie.
Yeah. But, I don't know how coffee affects pixies, and I don't know how it affects pseudo-dragons.
Well, you have learned from the party that it affects them terribly.
Yeah.
They destroyed a town.
Okay. Proshka's not big enough to destroy a town.
Yes, but if you got 100 Proshkas,
Yeah, okay.
wouldn't take much when you got enough numbers.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so yes, you head off. As you're walking along, you find that there are plenty of animals to ride.
I'm happy riding my own feet. Or on the cart if I feel a bit tired. If Drazzle doesn't mind, I'll sit on the cart.
No, Drizzle doesn't mind.
And
He doesn't use reins, he just speaks in Draconic and his horse goes in that direction.
okay. Try and was Drazzle into gossip or chatting? Not really, is he?
He does, except his version of gossip is enough that you probably gave up the first 2 or 3 times you tried.
Okay.
Because he'll gossip about things that haven't happened yet or that happened in a previous timeline.
Okay. Well, I'll just listen to whatever he says, even though I don't understand it.
Things such as, it's so nice you got to keep your hand.
Yeah, I got 2 of them.
And they're not explaining why you lost your hand the last time.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's obvious that some other timeline. He said previously that in other timelines, most other timelines, they don't live to survive. So, yeah.
He has witnessed a lot of death.
But I'm alive in this timeline, Trazzle. And that's the important one.
Which he normally responds with currently.
Currently. All right. True. Okay. Death comes to us all one day.
And he says, be careful of calling death's name because death may come.
Okay. I will not call...
Isn't Death the one who's actually watching me?
Yes.
Yeah, so Death is listening.
And there are multiple versions of death in this world.
Yep.
One of them being the god Thanatos, who is the Grim Reaper.
Okay.
You say his name in vain, and you generally don't get a second chance. Not like Beetlejuice, where you have to call it 3 times to get him. You get his attention. There's only one god more powerful than him in his hierarchy.
Is that time?
No, that is entropy. That is Hel, the Hel. And the only reason, no, it's not the Queen of Darkness.
Okay.
And the only reason she's more powerful than him is the party foiled one of his schemes a few years ago in the game and got him demoted 1 rank.
One of the primal titans is of death.
Yes, there is a primal death.
Tetsimok.
And so he's another god of death.
Okay.
Sorry, which god was this again?
The primal titan that was awoken on the Tuesday night group.
Oh, yeah.
So there's quite a few, that's what I said, there's quite a few gods of death.
6. Yeah.
And there are gods of undeath which aren't gods of death.
Yep.
So be careful who you pray to is the general expectation. The Troldarans do also venerate the god Orcus.
I don't think I want to venerate Orcus.
The horned god or the goat god, or however you really wish to say it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're saying a different one to the Orcus I'm thinking of?
The traditional version of Orcus is how he appears in this setting.
Okay.
But he does exist. He is not he's also known as a demon lord, but he is a god.
Okay.
So not little g, big G.
I try not to get too mixed up with all this complicated stuff with gods. Just stay out of it.
Gods be crazy.
But by following the Troldaran pantheon, he's one of the gods of the pantheon.
Yeah, I know. You've got to respect them and give them obeisance when necessary and placate them, but, be careful. Don't trust the powerful. That's the motto.
And Redrian, who you've met, his belief is that God should not interfere in the affairs of mortals.
Yeah, I can go along with that. I can support that. They said whenever they do that, it seems to stuff everything up.
Well, the entire war that's happening right now is due to a squabble amongst the Immortals.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Master's attacking is due to the inattention of the gods into what's happening, allowing other people to act and do stuff. So wars are breaking out all over the region.
And if we awaken the Primal Titans, or others have.
You have. So Ross, what will you be writing?
So we're going by land, or they're actually wanting to fly?
They're going to go by land.
Okay, in that case, I'll be riding Inferno.
Yay!
So will you describe Inferno for those who have not seen him before?
Okay, Inferno is a pony, basically made out of shimmering water.
Well, he would be a water aspected pony. More than a if he was an an elemental, that would be a different thing. If he was purely made out of water, it would only work on the river, not on land, because water elementals cannot move.
Fair enough. Okay, so he's a white pony with a soft blue glistening glow to it, and he looks always that he's wet.
Okay. And the
But
name
when you touch it, it doesn't feel wet. It's just weird.
and the name Inferno when he looks wet.
Yes, because it's the equivalent of calling a bald man curly.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
It's basically what happened was
Calling redheads bluey,
the
yeah.
Fire Genasi decided to call, what was it, his steed some ice thing or something like that. So I went, bugger that, I'll call mine Inferno.
Fair enough. I can go along with that. I can be a wholehearted supporter of Inferno.
It's a pet name.
I'll pat Inferno and get my hand wet.
It's more than happy to shower you in rain droplets by shaking its mane.
Okay. Well, after getting covered in water, I will keep my distance.
Well, it doesn't make you wet.
Oh, okay. It doesn't make me wet.
No.
I get covered in rain droplets and don't get wet.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it's confusing.
It is confusing.
But it is refreshing.
So it is refreshing to not get wet. Okay. All right.
He is an elementally aspected horse.
Okay. So if we're getting a bit hot, I'll just come over and give him a few pats and scratches and get
He is
sprayed
good
on.
in hot environments.
Okay.
So, Josh, do you want to describe your mount?
Yes, I can describe my mount.
Yeah, fiery tinted custard.
Yeah, my steed is Aqua. It is a fire aspected. Isn't it like a warhorse, pretty much?
It
or
is.
it
It is a fire aspected light warhorse.
Yeah. So you see this big, not the biggest horse you've ever seen, but you see this big horse,
Think Arabian steed style horse.
and it's glowing this like bright orange.
Yeah,
has
his
a
horse
sort of
is more
shimmer coming
intimidating than he is.
And
Or she
you
is,
see
I should say.
its hoof prints leave burn marks.
Okay. And what did you name it again?
Aqua.
Aqua. Okay. So there's this pattern here of okay.
Yeah, tit for
You're,
tat.
you're forgetting one crucial thing. It has asbestos boots, so we don't set the whole plains on fire.
That's when you remember to put them on, because if he
Yeah.
if he unsummons it or sends it away, he doesn't leave the boots on. So, M, who are you riding for this journey?
I would be riding Artemis. He is my celestial warhorse.
And he's really happy because he's finally been picked.
Well, yes, probably. I do use him mostly.
Previously you've been using Chocobo and your Griffins.
I've mostly been using my griffins in the last few sessions, but yes.
Griffins are new.
My chocobo has gone out for hunting. Artemis has been stabled because we just were in an area that he was not really good at. And now he's being ridden because it is now in a good spot to ride.
And what do you do with your Griffin followers and your murderous Axby?
Well, my murderous Axby will be told to behave himself and walk with us. And probably be put next to horse. Because I presume Jazzle's coming with us.
Razzle is coming with you, and Calcrix has coming with her 3 drakes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what?
Um,
And does Calcrix want to describe her mount?
Mount or my companions?
Mount.
Oh, do I get a mount? Like,
We talked about it earlier.
am I
Yes.
getting my
We did
Christmas
say
wish?
so, yes.
We did. Okay. Calcrix, half the reason is because my brain is trying to hold this cup and just pass that so that you can let it be. Do you need cold water?
No, that's fine.
Okay, awesome. Calcrix, not being aware of her new Christmas present, now has a Christmas present, pulls out or summons a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which is light blue in colour with dark blue stripes. And once she gets on him, she promptly sends Eep down to hand him a cookie. So Eep dances all the way along because his arms are too small and he didn't think this through.
Yes, I do know Meet the Fellow Robinsons.
Just going to finish my coffee.
I do have one question. What's happened with Fala, the character you were playing?
There will be references to that in my letter.
Okay.
Thala had been caught up elsewhere.
Yeah, there's kind of a reference of the mystery of Thala.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if that had been covered yet.
Not yet, no.
Not yet. All right. Soon to be covered.
Yes.
Perfect. You asked me what Atlas and the rest of the Griffin riders are doing. They'll probably be following in the sky, scouting ahead, letting us know any dangers, I guess.
Okay, so the first day, at the end of the first day's travel, you come to the riverbanks where the halflings have set up a little community on the bank. This is where they ferry people over to High Forge if the gnomes permit it.
Great. Let me guess, I got a picture of me on there somewhere?
They do know you by sight.
Yeah.
Are they happy to let us camp by their little dock for the night?
They're more than happy to let you camp there and even celebrate with you.
Okay,
Because
cool.
every night is a night worthy of celebration.
Oh, cool. Okay. Happy to join the celebrations. Sing along in my bad singing voice.
If everyone's drunk enough, a bad singing voice can sound good.
And they do have lots of old tales they tell as they sing.
Okay.
Many of them featuring the Black Knight.
All right, I will listen to those. And I will not wear the helmet.
The Black Knight.
Mm-hmm.
That does sound interesting.
The Scourge of Karamikos. Considered the psychotic mass murderer, barbarian lord.
Wow.
Okay.
Does this mean he's going to turn out to be really nice?
Psychotic mass murderer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I look like when I put the helmet on.
Excuse me. Cool. Let's start some pipe smoking.
They do have much pipe smoking on hand. And they even recognize Yodri's clan.
Cool. Oh. Well,
And most of them greet you as a distant cousin. Not really sure how far removed, but hey, they don't really care.
Halfrix puts a silly hat on her T-Rex before they approach camp so that they know the T-Rex is not going to hurt anybody. And
Well,
will
we've
put
got
it
a neat-
away when they get to camp.
well, I've got an image of a floral hat. Or a gardening hat with a flower sticking out of it.
Think of a cross between, like, not made out of paper, but one of those coloured paper crowns covered in flowers. It just looks ridiculous.
So part of my brain had a card dealer hat with just a little brim out and not really useful at all, but on sitting on top of this massive head.
I kind of want everyone to know that the T-Rex is not about to eat them. I don't want anyone accidentally casting magic missile at it.
But hey, there is a dragon on top of this giant lizard.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking,
She finally got to ride a T-Rex.
So this reminds me of bloody Optimus Prime riding Grimlock.
Mhm.
Well,
How much
I won't say that I was inspired by Transformers and Grimlock in particular. Nor will I reference a childhood gone into adulthood obsession with dinosaurs. That's not me at all.
We nearly got a mount if it wasn't for the Ranger. Failed Ranger.
Aww.
How do we feed the T-Rex?
Ooh, I object to that.
Cookies.
Cookies, okay. All right.
He does have a bag of feed.
Okay.
Plus, you do have the effect of all the soldiers on the road will actually get out of the way of your entire procession.
I'm sure. Like, it's not every day you see a T-Rex being ridden by a dragon.
Followed by 3 large drakes.
Okay.
And this is partly why the Chocobo Axebeak is extremely good-natured at this time. Because
it's not because of horse, not horse.
well, there's because the horse is also a drake.
Yes. Yes.
And it's terribly afraid it's going to get eaten if it messes up too much because it's been told that.
That's the X-Beak.
Yeah, the X-Beak. The X-Beak understands that if it messes up too much for the horse will just eat him. And there's no scale. It's you've done too much. You're now food. So he tries to behave 100% of the time around him. Being told you're prey of a larger creature is enough to make something notice and remember.
Great. I seem to look like the sidekick of the group.
Do you want to ride my T-Rex?
They won't even see me if I'm on your T-Rex.
You can sit on his head.
So it's all right. I look like one of the servants.
Well, you and Drizzle are bringing up the rear in the cart.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's always good not to draw attention to yourself.
Well, if anyone's going to attack, they're going to attack the one in front.
Exactly. You're not going to worry about the guys on the cart at the back.
Well, the other thing is you have to worry about if they're confident enough to attack the one in the front.
Well, there's a lot of bandits who I'm sure will think, oh, that's just an illusion, it can't be real. Creatures don't get that big.
Well,
Okay? If they're that stupid, they don't really deserve to live.
Yes. Not every bandit has the intellect of an adventurer, so they are played as such.
Okay, well, we know what the dinosaur's eating.
The bandits.
We'll have to probably share it with all the drakes.
Aren't these like your people though, in the sense that they're halflings too?
But the halflings aren't bandits.
Oh, right.
Yeah, these are river folk.
Okay, so yes, you have the first night where there was a little mini market set up by the halflings with lots of things made from reed and flowers. And
Caltrix is super excited.
and they have various foods from all the farms of the region. As part of transportation, they get a cut.
That sounds really awesome, actually.
Well, it's better than being paid money that they then have to give someone else. They don't care about money.
I was going to say I should have put Caltrix riding the Christmas dragon in front of the camera, but I think this will do. Does this mean I finally have to take her off her T-Rex mount now that she's achieved her dream, or does she get to stay on it?
You can stay on it.
Nice.
It can be a memorial.
Memorial. It's a commemorative thing.
And the halflings find the T-Rex extremely interesting.
Oh, well, interesting is not the word I'd have used, but...
Well, it's a creature that its feet are almost larger than they are. And it is doing whatever Calcrix wants it to do.
So they find it impressive or
Very
offensive?
interesting.
Interesting, good.
Because it's something they haven't seen before.
Would any halfling children like a ride on a T-Rex?
More of them are happy to use the tail as a plaything.
Absolutely, they can.
Very few of the adults will allow it to go anywhere near where the mouth is because, hey, halfling children are small enough no one would notice.
Calgary's is kind of like fair. I don't want to accidentally have any children consumed.
Even halflings are small enough that no one would notice for the bloody T-Rex.
So just so that my brain can figure this out, I'm as a large size, the size of a horse. So this T-Rex, for me to ride it, would have to be a little bit bigger
It would be
than me.
considered huge, which
Right.
would be another scale.
Do you have
taller
any
than-
miniatures that represent large and huge? If not, that's fine.
Huge is
I
normally
can
3
figure out the
squares
visual
by 3
difference later.
squares. And large is 2 squares by
I
2
just
squares.
can't see images,
Well,
so I have trouble
height would have been
picturing.
easier to show her
Yeah,
than.
height would work. It doesn't have to be like the right creatures. Although I think you've got a T-Rex in there
I
somewhere.
think you're basically the size of an elephant now.
No, I'm a horse. You do have a T-Rex in there. Is that a huge T-Rex?
And so to give you the other sort of scale that would be.
Oh yeah.
So that is
Just happens
that's
to have wings,
large.
too.
And if I grab a person.
So hopefully it doesn't get in the way of the camera too much and you can see this. So that's the huge T-Rex.
And that's the size of a person in comparison.
That's the size of Calcrix there, griffin, but white winged, which is appropriate. And I think that's actually a Mandalorian, so that fits right in with this setting, right?
Well, it was the one I could reach that was of a person.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to put that up on the main screen so people can see it better, but that gives you, for people who have trouble visualising like I do. I'll often ask Martin for, yeah.
That gives us some sort of idea.
If I end up attacking you in a fight, it's because I can't figure out where you are in terms of, yeah.
Okay.
So that's cool.
And I'm about half the height of the Mandalorian.
I was going to say, so you're half the height of Mandalorian. I think the T-Rex would notice it ate you. A halfling child, I think, though, that could be a problem.
Yeah, small size that doesn't nobody get
So
dodgy.
they're small. And a kind of
To
grouping.
look at more on scale.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna
Actually,
say-
having a T-Rex is actually quite nice.
Move some things so that Gary can see too.
Yeah, no, I could see it, yeah.
Put myself a little side table going because I decided to go French press. Mostly because it's going to go stain. Thanks. That helps a lot in figuring out what's going on. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay. So the halflings are quite happy to play with the tail,
Nice.
and
Does this gain me any extra discounts when I go to the markets?
well, they're always happy to trade, and they're trading rides for stuff.
Yep.
Because they don't really believe in carrying money around because the bandits only want money. They don't want food and clothing and all that sort of stuff. So the halflings rarely get attacked.
So Eep's written me a badly charcoaled sign that says, we'll swap rides for not necessarily precious, but brightly coloured stones of any sort. And any kind of trinkets or toys, particularly handmade, those kind of things.
They have reed toys that the halflings make. They have mechanical toys that the gnomes make.
Yep.
They have nicely carved stuff from the dwarves, who are also in the gnomish settlement.
She will swap all of those, and it only takes one thing per 10,000 rides. But, you know, obviously they've got to stop.
Well,
the
as far
T-Rex
as
at a
the
certain bit.
halflings are concerned, it has to be a fair trade.
Yeah.
So they'll basically do a thing for a ride.
Calcrick's happy to be lenient though. She's also happy to pay for. She wants to know if there's any more valuable items that they might have for sale or trade. Most particularly, she's kind of after just like semi-precious gemstones and things like
They say they don't stock
Nothing from the river.
gemstones because
that. Bandits.
bandits.
Fair enough. Okay.
By not carrying or trading in any form of currency
Doesn't hurt.
means that the bandits leave them alone. That and the fact that sometimes the bandits end up in the pot also is a good reason why bandits don't attack them.
Calcrix is kind of looking at Eve and we're wondering whether or not we should stick to cookies this trip. She doesn't like the idea of eating someone that might be a representative of her friend Zal or Cheval.
Well, it'll be more representative of Anton.
Or Anton, yes. Yeah, well, racially, yes. Yes, sorry. But she doesn't think in racial terms, she thinks in
People terms.
people that she knows.
Well, then I would suggest you skip the pirate wine.
Yeah, no, she's not a drinker anyway. Coffee is really her, what's it called? A vice. It's her vice. Yeah.
Though Yodri does partake in the blood wine.
Of course he does, because Yodri's pirate, isn't he?
Well, it's the first opportunity he's had to actually get real halfling brew.
In terms of narrator stuff, when there was a moment, you might have other stuff you want from me first. I wanted to catch up with Zal and Cheval and Yodri.
Are there characters available?
Round the campfire once the excitement
As
settled.
in, are the players able to hear, so Ariadna doesn't have to repeat herself?
Yeah, I can.
What have you been doing? What's been happening?
Faye shenanigans.
That could encompass a lot of things. Any details? She also whips out her journal and starts making notes.
I became a vampire, I think.
You what?
It wasn't that long.
But what? How?
It sucked.
Fabrics can't hear the GM. So, does anyone else in the party make that horrible
Well,
dad party joke?
basically, you just need to blame Zal for it.
It was
Zal.
hilarious.
Of course.
And Jamal.
I
Calcrix
met my ancestor? Question mark.
Calcrix is like, what did you two do?
The sunburn was terrible.
Oh. So
Yeah, apparently if I go to the Feydark, what was it, like 3 more times? The third time I don't have a choice and I become a vampire would.
Calcrix leans down as only a large dragon can, very gently gets her claws and cups Zal's chin and says, "No more Feydark for you."
Yeah, no, don't worry.
And over the back you hear, no bitey.
No, nobody. Don't worry, Drazzle's
Nobody
on top of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's his destiny.
Only if I go to the Feydark.
Once you start down the dark path forever, hold your destiny.
Calcrix
No.
looks over at Drazzle and kind of says, "Is there anything I can do to help my friend?"
Drazzle cannot say.
Fair enough. She looks to Cheval, and are you?
So, in reference to that, for some of the characters have learnt that if Drazzle states anything that sounds like prophecy, he has to make it happen. So, the reason he doesn't tell you a lot of stuff is he doesn't want to be required to make sure that happens in history.
Mm-hmm.
So, as someone who travels through time, they are bound by certain rules, and one of those is anything that they say that tells of a future event becomes actual prophecy.
Question for clarification, and this is as a player, and the answer may not be available. I absolutely understand that. And I am referencing a little bit in Tuesday's game. Is it just Drazzle and Lani who are tied to
At this
time
stage.
fairly tightly that applies to?
Both of them have time travels.
So it doesn't necessarily
On
apply to
purpose.
Calcrix, because the question I'm writing right now, which is why I'm asking this question, well, I remember right now, which is whether or not Calcrix uses something like clairvoyance or divination, those kinds of spells to figure out how to help her friend Zal and probably Cheval.
As long as it's not discussed with Drazzle or Lani, both of those characters are bound by prophecy.
They could hear what we say, but they don't have to comment on it.
I know.
They can't hear it.
If they hear you talking about a prophecy, they're then bound to make it happen.
Oh, so even ones they don't state, ones that they hear.
And further
Okay.
possible metagaming player question, considering the crossover between Tuesday and Friday, does Calcrix know that?
Yes.
Awesome. I just want to make sure before I write it in this book that I can do it.
It's all good. That's why there's quite a few times he'll go off somewhere else to just work on his book.
Yeah, okay.
And this is one of the reasons why Calcrix keeps a journal of everything.
And why he doesn't give a lot of information when he talks to people.
Yes, the book, which is timey-wimey, squiggly wiggly.
So Calcrix is like, looks at Yodri, because Yodri's the one who's pointed that out, is that right? She's like, does this apply to you and Cheval as well, or just Zal?
No, I think we're in the after effects of the.
So just Zal.
Was it the heart, the vampire heart gem thingamajig?
The heart of Dracula. So they actually found Dracula's lair.
And guess who's related?
Thala remembers seeing the heart.
Yeah,
Calcrix only knows about this through
I
Thala's
found
lair.
my ancestor, question mark.
It technically is one of your ancestors because your character is actually related to Jeremy's Wednesday night character,
Dimitri.
which he hasn't been told about yet.
Oh, we better not watch this video.
That's funny.
Well, there's been multiple videos I've mentioned it, so it's just me bringing it back up again.
Oh, just so that you guys know, you guys are referenced because of Calcrix in the Tuesday night games.
Hello.
You do get mentioned quite often by the GM as well.
Sometimes, though, as one of those lessons where it sounds like it's heroic, but it turns out to be one of those don't do this type lessons.
No.
Don't fly wild drunk.
Don't do how they did it, basically.
So it's
That's
three more times.
So if she gets the curse of vampirism 5 times, she'll not be able to remove it.
And
Okay.
She's had it twice now.
And is that if she goes to the Fey Dark, that's where she's at the highest
Well,
risk?
she's gotten it twice in the Fey Dark.
Okay.
She can actually get it outside of the Fey
Okay.
Dark.
Okay, it's good to actually have that extra little bit of detail.
It's just more likely to happen in the Fey Dark.
Especially when you go to your ancestral castle,
Yes.
which
Yes.
you went to twice, and then
know.
managed to activate the powers of the castle twice.
Is this why you were an ex-ranger?
I am aware of what happened. I lived it.
It's just letting other people know who weren't aware.
I was going to say, one, he lets people like me who forget all the time, and I live a lot and I forget an awful lot, so the reminders are actually appreciated by those of us with no short-term
I know, but some of us don't want to be reminded. Thanks, Martin.
In which case, I apologise for all the times you will be reminded because of my bad memory.
I could always go back to the rope pit incident.
No.
Thank you. I'm all good.
And I can just hear Josh/Chauvel going, no, let's please. This is a tale that the Halflings would love to hear.
Or I can go to the Forge of Power incident.
Forge of Power incident?
Yeah.
That
What is the Forge of
wasn't our
Power
fault.
incident?
Where Stefan's character destroyed his ancestral
This is
forge,
pre-Calcrix.
breaking his clan.
Yeah.
Calcrix was part of that group.
Was she?
Yes.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
was?
You may not have been there at the
Oh,
time.
Calcrix as a baby dragon.
Yeah, as a baby dragon.
Yeah. Ooh, I need to mine information from these games. Are they recorded? Of course
Yes.
they're recorded. Got a
Yeah.
lot of research.
Oh,
to do.
actually, those ones were only audio recordings.
That does not
Yeah.
mean I cannot find them. Or it might. I will see.
You still have the ability to listen.
Well,
Yeah.
it's currently in my thing of setting it up to make them accessible from
yeah,
my
they
local
might not be
network.
accessible, but if they get accessible, otherwise I'll just ask Mr. Memory, the GM, what the heck went on, and yeah, get there.
And there's also the Disney curse, which happened.
Disney curse?
Yeah.
I don't think
Someone
Stefan
saw a
people
bottle that
realised
had
that.
word saying "drink me" on it next to their bed, so he drank it. And he went from being a dwarf who used teenage angst as his bardic ability to being forced to sing everything as a Disney princess.
Oh my god, okay.
And every time he rolled to see how well he performed, he was rolling natural 20s.
And he would also summon small little creatures, which Chocobo loved.
So there have been a lot of interesting things where the characters have gotten up to things they didn't expect.
Is there anything else of note that has happened to you guys? How did you meet Sir Anton here?
In the Fey Dark.
Oh,
Wasn't
you're
it-
not a vampire, are you?
after-
She pokes you very gently.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But he's related to them.
She
Am
looks
I?
to...
All Traldarans are related to the vampire.
Okay.
Because he's that far back in their history that it's like saying after, say, 500 years.
Oh, I get you. Yeah, we're all descended. Yeah.
So when I say it, it is quite obvious from a genetic perspective, but most people think grandfather, but it's a lot further back.
Too many generations back.
As Calcrix...
Doesn't matter. Doesn't count.
As Calcrix, I look to... Is it Pushka? No.
Proshka.
Propushka.
Proshka.
Calcrix looks to Proshka and says, "You're the trustworthy one in this group here.
He shakes his head.
You're not the trustworthy one?"
He held up one of the cookies he's managed to get from Eep. Without you knowing about
Well,
it.
Eep hands out cookies like... Eep hands out... It's a magic bag that never empties of cookies. Eep hands them out all the time. She's practically just permanently eating a cookie. It looks like the same cookie, but it's like number
You do notice that
2055.
since you've joined the group, Pruska's stomach has almost doubled in size.
You may have to put Pushka on a diet.
It's rather difficult to get Proshka to do things like
Proshka,
that.
sorry.
Proshka,
I will get it
even-
right. Calcrix gently puts her...
you'd have to cut the supply somehow.
Calcrix
Well, the other option is you don't ride on the cart, you walk.
Calcrix gently puts her claw up and lets Eep climb on it, as Eep is accustomed to do, and she brings Eep down. She's like, "I'm sorry, but the little dragon is going to have a weight problem. You either need to control the output of cookies, or I need to have the cookie back.
And he says, "Death to the infidels!"
I know.
One
I'm really
cookie
sorry,
a day for Proshka?
but just one cookie a day, because you like other dragons, don't you?
He nods.
Well, you don't want him to get sick, do you?
He nods.
So one cookie a day for the little dragon,
He nods.
and as many cookies as Eep likes, but not in front of the little dragon. You
He
know
nods.
how to hide, right? Yeah, you know how to hide. And puts Eep back up. Does Eep immediately hand another cookie to Pushka?
Yes.
Bag.
He nods.
Bag.
He nods.
Eep.
He has his hands up. He's got no bag.
Since it's my bag, can I magically get
Yep.
it off Eep? I magically get it off Eep, tuck it into my scales.
He mopes.
Pardon?
He mopes.
I give Eep a little
So
kiss.
is that an emote?
I give Eep a little kiss and it's like, I still love you. But this is unfortunately something that we have to learn. And I put Eep back up there, and when I put it away, I make sure I use invisibility or something to hide where I've put it and hope to heck neither of them can roll high enough to figure it out.
Can't Pseudo dragons see invisible?
Some can.
Proshka has blind sight and telepathy.
Yeah.
Is there a way to hide it from Pushka?
Yes, because of your bags of holdings basically become scales. You can open.
Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, nice. This
Well,
helps.
does it also doesn't smell like biscuits?
Probably not in its bag. Probably out of its bag. If Martin gives me control of it, I would say as soon as they get removed from the bag, everything smells like freshly baked biscuits. And whoever's smelling it smells the biscuit they love the most. If that's allowed.
Okay, can I borrow that bag for a moment?
No, I've just hidden it from them, but when they're asleep, yes.
So, we've now got another form of high. Let's do some bag sniffing.
I see.
Yes, but if you
Right.
sniff the bag, you don't get any benefit. You've actually got to pull the cookie out.
Yeah, you gotta have the
Oh,
cookie and
what?
not eat it straight away.
But then it means I have to eat the damn thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't have to eat it. You can keep it for as long as you can hold it away from Prushka.
Now you know why
And
Prushka
eat.
has been enjoying them so much. It's its favourite food.
Yeah.
And every time it finishes it, keep adding in another one. And it's like, yep.
Eep unfortunately doesn't have that kind of self-control, which is why obviously I've had to put the bag away.
Prostrate clearly doesn't have it either.
You know, Eep. As
You don't look like any bit concerned about this, do you?
He just looks at you and pats your cheek nicely.
Mm.
Did anything else? You know, like how did you meet the Fade Dark? What happened?
They took a left turn at Albuquerque and ended up there.
I actually don't know how I met the group. So
They came in with Drazzle.
Oh, okay. So Dressel pulled them in at what, like to save
In the middle of the
them, or-
Fey Dark, and they have no idea what they were doing at the time.
Was there an event attached to it, or they just turned up and followed them out? or-
Well, they're currently...
We're investing undead and gates and things like that.
There are a lot of gates involved, so they came into the Fey Dark via some means they didn't understand and recognized Drazzle.
Okay, so Drazzle did the thing that he kind of often does and just turns up with strangers who are helpful and turn out to be good friends.
Yeah.
Well, they have learned not to trust most of those who show up without him.
Mm-hmm.
I met everyone after they left the Fadak.
I see.
They just left the Fadak.
And where do you come from?
Trelladar, I did.
He's in his nation now.
Oh, Trolldar, right.
Karamikos, but he refers to it as Trolldara because that was the name it was before the Phaeatans invaded it over 100 years ago.
That's what it
110
still,
years ago
still
now.
should be called.
How did you happen to meet Proshka? Proshka?
How did I happen to eat Proshka?
Proshka came across you and wouldn't leave you.
Yeah, but we get along.
We do that. I came across these guys and didn't leave them.
Yeah. Proshka tries to actually help me at times, and other times just tries to actually just have fun and sabotage things.
I think
it's more of the latter than the latter and the former.
And while you're describing that, Proshka's doing this weird thing with your hair, making it try to stick upwards instead of flop down.
Yeah, I don't mind that. A bit of head scratching's always pretty good. Proshka also likes to listen on secret conversations.
That's actually good to probably.
But he doesn't. He doesn't really discriminate. He doesn't really care what that information is.
It's still good to be keeping in mind.
So even if it's just gossip about, what that big bitch got up to last week.
That's okay, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the parties that got told the stuff that gods shouldn't know they know. There's some information that's pretty deadly. So
Gossip's probably more interest to Proshka, particularly with people in the immediate vicinity.
Calcrix will whisper some sort of inane gossip towards Proshka just to.
Okay.
And there is Proshka does tell you about the who's sleeping with who amongst the halfling community at the moment, and all the scandals that are going on.
Really?
There.
I wouldn't put those two together.
No, which two are we talking about?
Those two over there.
Especially the
the halflings.
Especially the bard. She's basically been breaking hearts all over the riverbanks.
I was going to say, but the bard will break hearts. Everyone knows this. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is literally.
And if anyone makes a complaint about her getting up and leaving, well, they generally don't last long.
That's amusing, but also a little worrying.
Well, it said she's one of the followers of the Thorn.
Oh, what are they?
What is the followers of the Thorn?
Halfling assassins.
Yeah.
Oh. Calcrix suddenly
Also-
looks at the bard with a lot more interest. Is there anything to be gained by questioning the population at the moment, or?
Well, you think you've gone to a lot of information from these guys already.
Okay. Yep.
You've
Well-
had some... Go, Ross?
Well, I'm going to actually have a talk to the Breaker of the Hearts and just find out if she's heard anything about the Giants.
She goes, Yodri, good to see you with your clothes on.
She's broken your heart before.
No, it was mutual.
Was it?
So I heard you got drunk after we last met.
Yeah.
Crashed a ship and got yourself in a bit of trouble.
I didn't crash a ship. I successfully landed it. Hey, it's gnome. Anything you can walk out, it's landed.
Yes, but if it doesn't fly again, it's crashed.
Most of the gnome ones that I know of don't fly again when they land. I think it's only the really expensive ones that still fly.
Well, she doesn't consider throwing something through the air flying. And most of the gnomish inventions are the equivalent of throwing something really hard and hoping it lands where you want it to.
Yeah, falling it in style.
Not with style, she says. Definitely not with style.
Yeah, well, I did. So, what takes you in this area?
Oh, she works the riverbanks.
Oh, okay, cool.
She deals with the anyone who's taking advantage of the locals.
Yeah, so you're part of the management. Cool.
Oh no, there's no management involved. She just has fun.
Typical.
Does she glean any particular information, or she just...
She does say that the Duke's Road murderer seems to be getting celebrated at the moment because he seems to be solely concentrating on giants instead of Thiatans or merchants.
Prior to that, was there any progress on in the investigation of... Was
not-
he mostly a vigilante before he started concentrating on giants?
Well, he only really started killing people on the road when the road was built, because the road has only been around for about 20 to 30 years.
Which road was that again?
The Duke's Road.
Oh, just the Duke's Road.
So
of
the
course.
road that
Yep.
goes north and south of Kelvin.
Okay, yep. So not where we are right now.
That is the road you're on right now.
Oh, okay.
You're literally on the Duke's Road. And every spring, he was massacring someone on the road.
Was it innocents and villainous alike, or?
Hard to tell why he massacred them. Most of the time, people just went missing. It's believed that before the road existed, people just went missing.
Okay.
Because it was not really a connected community.
Okay, so there's no one investigating that.
Oh, there are people investigating it. No one's ever found a solution.
Okay. No clues and things like that.
Those who have found clues have left the country.
Okay.
Apparently,
Solution: avoid the area.
Apparently, finding out enough information to make a deduction was enough for them to never want to come back.
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering if it's killing giants and we have to talk to the giants. The giants may look more kindly upon us if we're able to stop whatever's killing them from killing them.
Well, whatever's been doing it has been doing it for close to 30 or 40 years now.
And,
as far as
and
records
these
goes.
killings, they're people on their own, so they're isolated.
Or groups.
Or groups, so multiple people at one time.
Even had an entire rest stop where you would have wagons and guards all wiped out in a night.
Okay. Doesn't sound like a nice person.
Yes, but the fact
But
that
powerful.
he's now attacking giants and not locals has the locals starting to celebrate him or her or whatever it is.
I bet as I say, we're
What
assuming
happens
it's
when
a,
the giants move on, though, to go back to people?
Well, by then, hopefully, someone will have figured a way to stop it turning on the locals again.
since we have no idea what it is. Well, we keep our eyes open.
But it's powerful enough that no one in the nation has been able to divine or stop it.
Yeah, I think we're reasonably safe. Well, we've got a Tyrannosaurus Rex being ridden by a white dragon.
Mostly white dragons.
Mostly white.
Though there also used to be a great red dragon in the region before the dragons went away.
Okay.
So even your white dragon would have been humbled before it.
Yeah. But the red dragon's no longer here, so...
Yes, all the dragons have gone.
Yeah.
In terms of power, if such a thing can be done, is a red dragon fairly powerful?
Size and age makes the power.
And do we know the size of this red dragon that was in the area?
You know the big one I have up on top there, the big red one?
Oh, so we're talking gigantic.
Yes.
Okay. And that didn't want to have anything to do with this murderer.
It did not.
Calcrix is kind of... She's like, this sounds like horrible odds, but at the same time, murdering people indiscriminately, no matter how powerful you are and how likely it's going to kill her, is probably something she's going to sign on to do.
It's believed that a majority of the murders were variation in nature.
Okay, so the victims were Thaiations.
That was believed to be the majority of the victims.
Okay.
That's actually interesting.
All foreigners, non-Traldarans.
So we could actually be talking a really
Sounds
old
like
vampire.
more an avenging spirit.
Yeah. Like a really old vampire, since the Traldarans descended from a vampire, right?
No, that's just a myth.
Either that or it's the land.
Didn't you go to the Fey Dark and
No,
you...
he met with them after the Fey Dark.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They came from the Fadar.
Everybody joined the session after.
Okay. I was going to say, because if you went to the Fey Dark, the vampires wouldn't be such a myth.
Not sure I want to go to the Fadar. Don't know what I'm not sure I'd like what I would see there.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't recommend it unless it was a part of something.
Well,
you really
Also depending on your patron, it might actually be a bad thing to do if you're going to activate any of your abilities.
Okay.
If you're patrons of the entropic side, there's a good chance that the Fey Dark is a stepping stone to them.
Yeah.
If not their home.
Yeah, I know. That had occurred to me.
Yeah, I found out the hard way.
Yodri's patrons in the Fey Dark.
Okay.
So when he summoned some of the abilities of his patron, the abilities didn't have an expiry point.
Oh.
And his control of the abilities stopped not long after he summoned them.
Yeah, you can go away now. I said you can go. Go on, leave. Bye. Fuck. Oh well, we're not going into that area anymore.
Aren't we travelling along the road? Because that's where we have to
He was
go.
talking about what happened in the Fey Dark.
Right.
Yeah, I summoned some tentacles and they stayed there.
Darla was there for that.
Okay, so yes, that they do say that the Duke's Road Killer, while you are in getting to the end of summer, you'd have to wait at least 6 months to be able to chance seeing him.
Okay, you can actually... So people have seen this killer.
Well, they've seen the results of it, but it only happens at the start of sometime in the first month of spring.
Only at certain times of the year, okay.
1 month of the year.
And what... Okay, do I know of any significance that month in Traldaran legend?
It is the start of spring.
Okay, the start
End
of
of
spring.
winter.
So is it linked to blood sacrifices required to bring back the world or anything like that? Cycles.
It is the changeover from water to, I believe it's earth,
Okay.
and as such, all the changeover periods are powerful times for the gods of entropy.
Oh, okay. All right.
So every season where there's a changeover, different gods are dedicated to.
Calcrix turns to Zal and says, in your experience and knowledge of vampires and necromancy and stuff like that, do you have any insight into the significance of that transitional time? And vampires?
The halfling bard says they're a pain in the neck.
Okay.
They don't always bite the neck.
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really a vampire that long, and to be honest, my ancestry is still a little ambiguous, so...
Is there anything in that infamous book that you keep meaning to get through but haven't quite gotten through?
Well, the text keep changing.
The text keeps changing. So yes and no. I know that Dracula is my ancestor, but how that connects or concerns me at the moment, I'm unsure. Yeah, the only other thing really I know is that if I turn into a vampire, 4 more times?
3 more times.
3 more times.
Calprix leans over and grabs you by the chin and goes, 3. Make sure you remember it's 3.
Yeah,
4, not 4's gonna be bad. 3. She holds up her claws.
Okay.
3.
3.
The magic number is 5.
Yes, but 3 more times.
Yeah.
Alright, well, it sounds like it's a vampire for some reason, but, yeah.
I don't think
It's
a
also a
vampire.
home of the lycanthropes.
Oh, okay.
So it could quite easily be a powerful shape changer. Which means it would be very hard to trace because it can change form.
You have to tell me that bit after I've changed the pages.
Because the reputation of having the devil swine, which is the boar ware, is that they're always destructive. So they make werewolves look tame in comparison.
So it could be that it's not actually a murder, it could be just this were creature. That's the month that it transforms and it goes out of control and it just kills whatever's around and that's it.
It may hibernate and then come out in spring and go nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, and when these murders happen, where it's just bodies, it's just
Yep.
It started off with people just disappearing, and then it started to be bigger and bigger groups.
okay.
And
So
then
it's
little
not,
bodies left
that's
over.
what I'm trying to get to. Is it someone just completely disappears, or is it that there's a mutilated body found?
There have been lots of mutilated bodies found, but most of the time you put it to animal attacks.
Okay. The ones in particular that happens at the beginning of spring.
First month of spring, which is the 3rd month of the year.
Is there any other questions you want to ask Yodri? Or anyone else?
Do we actually know where the new giant border is?
Yes, it is the tip of the High Reach River in the mountains, with the easiest way to get to it by Penhaligon, because you're bound to have crossings to reach there, because they're the settlement that protects against the giants.
Isn't that also troll country?
It is not troll country.
Not if there's giants.
Or am I
there.
thinking on the wrong river?
Thinking on the wrong river.
Okay.
Troll country's on the other side of the nation, between the Five Shires and Karamikos. That
Yep.
region is troll country.
We've told them that we asked about giants and things, so they know where we're headed.
Yes, that the halflings generally don't deal with the giants because they never really went up that side of the nation. There are no settlements.
So when you say tip of the High Reach Mountains, you mean High Reach River with
where the High Reach River meets the mountains. The
okay.
tip of the High Reach River and the mountains is what
Okay.
I said.
Sorry.
Well, let's just say that we're headed to Penhaligon and then on to the giants. Is there anything that you'd like to see done? Is there anything that needs doing?
Well, there's always stuff that needs doing. Just that if it needs doing,
Anything
we
we could help you with? I was trying to say.
She thinks a little bit and goes, well, if you could, stop the giants actually being aggressive, that would be make business a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we're going to try
Kind
and
of
do.
what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
Whereas most of the tall folk have been busy dealing with the giants, so it's made their life a lot easier. And banditry, well, hey, we always need to stock our cook pots.
Okay.
So we welcome the occasional bandit.
Yeah. Any bandit foolish enough to attack us,
Yes. Though we do make a distinction between bandits and desperate people.
Yeah, that's true.
A desperate person's more likely to get food from us.
Desperate
A
person.
bandit's
can be
more likely to
reformed.
be the food who provide those desperate people.
Calicus and the Tyrannosaurus Rex, I think, mean that desperate people won't do anything stupid around us. And free drugs.
Mm.
And an axe beat.
But then they wouldn't be desperate.
No, well, there's a point at which it's just suicide, and I think even desperate people will work that way out.
People with suicide by cop.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying some bandits are just too dumb to know when they're outmatched. Okay, so yes. So you have this really relaxing night at the ferry to High Forge, and you're quite relaxed with the next morning when you're ready to go.
Take stock of all my stuff to make sure nothing's been stolen, because we're halflings after all.
You do realise that some of your clothes was stolen, cleaned, and put back.
Okay, that's never happened before.
Yeah.
Your
And also
clothes were stolen,
repaired.
cleaned, and put back. And repaired.
Mm.
Oh, okay. There you go. I don't have any clothes. That was the other thing. I don't know if Zal and Chevelle had any questions or Yodri for Calcrex.
Did you guys have questions you wanted to ask?
It's fine if they don't.
No, I can't really think of anything at the moment.
Like, she's only been gone for how long?
Quite a few games.
Mm.
Oh, other than how the hell did you get big?
She grew
Well,
up.
I think canonically, Zal and Calgrix have been communicating through letters when we can.
Yeah, generally
So-
Thala, when she receives
Yeah,
letters...
I know what you've been doing. You've been drinking mana coffee.
Nah.
Yeah, generally
Or-
Thala's the
or-
one that
Or bathing in pure mana.
she communicates with your group through, because Martin said that she can't be writing to everyone, so she might as well pick one person. And because
Yeah.
Thala was the changeover person, it's been mostly through her. But of course Thala's been gone for a little while now. She disappeared in the Fae Dark. And I don't know, the player's not hinting anything, but you may want to have a close look at not just her size, but other changes that might have happened.
You're not just
Particularly
white
if
anymore.
you have observation skills,
Not just white
mean-
anymore.
because it would tell you lots of things.
Well, they could make a perception roll if they want to.
Well, that's kind of what I was hinting as a player.
We know through the letters through Thala that you're not a white dragon.
Yeah, we know that you've been
anymore.
touched by the shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can. I'll make
That's
a
okay.
check.
I was going to say, you can leave it there if you like.
I'll make a perception check and. What was it? Perception? Or.
Perception
in-
is
investigation?
noticing. Investigation is when you're carefully looking.
Well, if she's asked me to literally look, and
No,
investigation
well,
would be.
as I said, I'm putting it out there as a suggestion. You don't have to actually do it. I won't be worried if you don't do it.
I mean, there's still both my investigation and perception are +4, so it doesn't really matter. But I was just making argument for argument's sake.
Either would give you a response. So
22.
22. Well, do you want to describe your states then?
So you've heard about. Have they seen her with all of the black
No.
yet? So you've heard she's had black scales, but it's not a few black scales. All of her back spines are black. Some of her flanks are black. A good part of her tail is black. Her horns are black. But there's also a third colour on her. In some places, she's dark blue.
So, what does that mean? Is that
Well, the dark blue matches the color of Drazzle.
Yeah, I'm getting that. I'm getting the multiple dragon things here. Is that what it is, or is it
So
something else?
you've got three elements.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unlike most dragons you've ever heard of, you've never heard of a dragon with 2 elements.
And I may have mentioned this at the other game between you and Ross, but I don't think Emmy or Cheval were at the last game, so it's kind of also a bit for them to discover as characters who have known her since she was a baby.
The other point of note is characters who have more than 1 element are automatically considered Alphatian by the people.
That's right. You told me that.
So when characters do that, majority of the population will look down on them because, depending on who they are, humans specifically, because that's the belief system of a different nation.
I don't think they'll look down on you though. You're too big.
Maybe looking up.
A dragon
Exactly.
doing it is just so different because none of the stories of dragons, even from that nation, are multicolored.
I'm just more curious. All the dragons have gone, but you haven't. Do you know why the other dragons have gone, or where they've gone?
Because
That's because we found her before that when the dragons left.
No,
So,
you found her. You did find her before they left, so you can go.
I was going to say, I was kidnapped, abducted as a baby by goblins
And kobolds.
And kobolds, yes. So I was kept separate from all the other dragons, and then this party found me, and because the dragons were very involved in their own politics and remain very involved in their own politics, they kind of haven't really checked up on me. As long as I kind of stick to where I am, if I were to go to the dragons, I would be drawn in their politics and I would be kind of stuck in that debate. And I don't like politics, as you can tell. I very much like to be a active, engaged person.
Would you like me to add what the politics are about, or do you want to
Yes.
keep that secret?
If it's something that's useful for them to know, then yes.
Okay, so
I'll just check his litter.
what Calcrix has discovered is that the dragons are debating bringing back the Chaos God of the dragons that died.
Okay.
It was killed by Black Morians, which were a race of humans with science fiction weaponry, who killed the dragon gods and all the dragons.
Okay, and they want to bring back said Chaos God for what reason?
Because it is the god that the dragon god that is about all colours,
Okay.
which Calcrix is starting to resemble.
Well, 3 of 10.
Well, 3 of 5.
Oh, 3 of the 5 on one side and 5 metallic on the other.
So from a play perspective, they're trying to bring back Tiamat.
Okay.
And Bahamut died at the same time. And if Tiamat comes back, she will create such an imbalance in the world that Bahamut will have to come back. And if Bahamut comes back, the dragons will go to war.
Okay.
And it will be a war against each other, flattening everything in between.
So does that mean Calcrix is turning into this after-mentioned dragon god that died, or she's a descendant of that god?
The thing that Calcrix has been warned is she may be the rallying point for all the dragons to bring back Tiamat and might end up being her avatar.
Right. And that's not a good thing from the sounds of it?
Well-
From the people's perspective, they don't know about the dragon god of chaos, but the dragon god of chaos was not a nice god.
But something else you might have observed with your 22 is that Calcrix also has a shield of a type you've probably not seen before, and it's a blue shield with a silver dragon on it.
Excuse me.
So you're a dragon who carries a shield.
Platinum dragon.
A platinum dragon, which means something. So the
Bahamut is the platinum dragon.
Yes, and that's so the names Tiamat and Bahamut are currently not known by the population because they died. about 3 to 5,000 years ago.
So I probably don't know it either.
Because Calcrix got to choose something from this tomb where they helped some people out. She chose Bahamut's shield, and she became the first dragon in this world to know who Bahamut was, and has pledged loyalty to him and to his cause, but more towards Io, who is their father, because she knows to bring both of them into the world will destroy the world. So her goal is actually, even though she agrees with Bahamut, the goal is to keep them both out of this realm.
Was this the underground temples, the 3 temples or whatever?
And she's found more temples since.
Yeah,
then.
there's another tomb. Yeah, so it's in relation
What,
to...
you've been raiding tombs? Shame on you.
Not raid, it was a gift.
Well, the tomb she went to was not in a dragon location. It was hidden by humans.
Yeah.
Nithians in particular.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? Niftians killed a dragon and buried it.
No, Nithians are an extinct race killed by God.
Nithians were the second race of people wiped out by God.
I think in particular one of the gods involved in this war.
Chauvel's God.
Yes. But I'm not going to mention that.
So Chauvel's God wiped out the Black Morians and erased them from history. And he also wiped out the Nithians and erased them from history. And he was trying to wipe out the Galantrians and erase them from history, but he was forbidden to do so. And that's what started the war. So the war is making people do what he wants, to wipe out the Galantrians and anyone who knows their name.
Basically, the main problem is Cheval's God.
He is the god of the sun.
There's a fair few gods
magic
mixed up in this, as always.
So if we want the world to be just permanent darkness, then it'll be nice and peaceful then.
Not necessarily so, but kind of.
Yeah, beware who you side with, because they may demand something of you you can't do.
Which is why she's
as
not
I said
necessarily
before,
loyal
gods are
to
crazy.
either.
And that the dragons weren't powerful enough to stop the Alphatian sky fleet until the party burnt down their entire armada, Wednesday night group.
Okay.
And so the Alphatians didn't, they were going to come over and carpet bomb this entire region until nothing lived. There was enough of them to do that.
Mm.
And they could have done that with outside the reach of mortal magic.
Okay.
And something that's big enough to scare the dragons, because they were the guardians of the world.
The dragons were.
Yes, and they've walked away from their stewardship. And since then, the giants have started to congregate. The giants have not been allowed to congregate since the time of Tiamat.
Sorry, what stopped the giants from congregating?
The dragons.
The dragons. But because the dragons... Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember this.
What you have learnt in the meantime is the giants served Tiamat.
Oh, okay.
Does that mean there might be some chance with 3 colours showing they might pay a bit of attention to Calcrix?
They would give Calcrix more deference than anyone else in the party. Whereas if you had just one colour, you would be the threat.
Mm.
Because most giants hate the dragons.
Calcrix looks up towards Eep and says, maybe we should get a paintbrush and add green and red to the scales, and then maybe we could convince them
Okay,
that I'm...
I'll get the paint for you. There should be some halfling around here that's got enough to set.
They do
Oil-based paint, though.
They do have paint supplies.
Yep.
I don't know. Is this actually a strategy, guys?
But that
I think it'd be causing more trouble than it's worth, but it might be fun.
But that is something Calcrix has learned after Tuesday night, but Tuesday night hasn't learned it yet.
Can Calcrix do insight or something like that on that idea? as to whether it's going to be more trouble but fun. Better to just kind of maybe leave herself as she is.
If you had all 5 colours, they would probably be close to obeying your commands.
And they're not incredibly smart.
Most hill giants are not.
But there are frost giants up there, aren't there?
They don't. As far as you've learned, it's a community of hill giants.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that idea?
Okay, was it red and green?
Yeah, but like Cheval and Zal as well as Anton.
And then we'll have to get some lacquer to make sure it stays on.
Well, oil-based paint.
I personally don't think it's a good idea. I think your presence alone, even with 3 colours, is going to be more than enough. I don't think you need to pretend that you are the reincarnation of what's his name?
To be honest, I don't know a whole lot about Tiamat, so...
The hill giants probably don't know much either.
Exactly. I'm banking on they see more than one colour and they're going to freak.
Tiamat also has several heads, doesn't she?
Representation of Tiamat.
Yeah. So just painting the scales won't work.
Can we have that close look on the camera?
She could say she's a representative, though.
Yeah, it's probably more about being convincing as being dominant.
That's cool. Yeah.
And that's the tiny miniature, not the large miniature, because you can buy a gigantic version of that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, I stand by what I said before. I think the hill giants are done enough to just get scared by the fact that we have a dragon.
That's the 5mm scale of Tiamat.
So that's basically what a aspect of Tiamat is, or an avatar of Tiamat.
Yeah. I only want one head, so I don't want to be an avatar of Tiamat.
Well, you might be able to hold a conversation with yourself.
That has merit.
What if you don't agree with yourself?
And just imagine you could read 5 books at once.
That has merit.
Yeah, but then you have an issue of turning pages. So then you'll have to have you cobalt slaves to turn the pages.
Eep. Eep could handle page turning.
And you could get 5 Eeps.
Yeah, or more. No, I don't want to be an avatar of Tiamat.
I can just see
I especially don't want to get an argument with myself, because Anton said that could be a problem.
That's the reason why Tiamat's a Chaos Dragon. Because each head has got its own opinion.
I don't think I have my aspect of Bahamut handy, but
isn't it just a silver drake?
He looks silverish, but he is
I've
quite.
seen him around.
He's quite large in comparison.
Yeah.
There's one at the top there that looks like it.
No, that's a white.
That's a gold dragon. That's not painted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is a gold dragon not painted. I've seen it around, but I think it's in a box.
Probably.
Anyway, on to Penhaligon.
Okay, so the second day's journey is quite quiet. Even most of the animals are keeping their distance.
Yeah, but it's understandable.
Every now and then, Calcrix's mount gives out her bellow that rings around the hills.
Calcrix pets. Good T-Rex.
Yeah, you just have to worry when there's a bellow back.
She's actually heard Bellow's back. And, she's okay. She's been on the Isle of Dread for, several weeks? So, yeah, she's kind of used to hearing dinosaurs.
Have we left the halflings behind, or are they still in the river?
There are halfling communities along each of those hexes.
Yeah, okay.
So their boats are constantly going up and down, and they generally pull off onto the shore for the night.
Okay, we wave as we pass.
Most of them are playing music as they go down the river.
Okay.
Can any of them, canoe up alongside the boat to trade stuff?
They can.
Oh, Calcrix is going to trade coffee and stuff. Just trade. Trading's fun.
They also have eel soup and...
Ooh. Feuds.
And they also talk about the tales of the region.
Do we learn anything more about the giants we're going to be dealing with?
Well, the halflings try to keep as far away from the giants as possible.
Yeah.
But they do say that the estate of Penhaligon are the experts in that.
Okay, so we'll find out weaknesses and
So
things like that
The
from there.
halflings have been giving them favourable rates to keep the giants in check.
Okay, fair enough. Alrighty, up to Penhaligon we go.
Okay, so on the third day you reach the estate of Penhaligon. At the end of the day, you find parts of the walls around the castle area are crumpled.
Not a good sign.
Looks like about 1,000 odd troops stationed on the outskirts of the town itself. Most of them looking like worn, with battle-weary look in their armor. It doesn't look like the parade style look. This looks like the nitty-gritty, dirty fighting look.
And looking around, can we see bodies? Can we see other damage? Can we see what's been happening?
There are no bodies here that you can see. This looks like that these guys are recovering from active duty.
Oh, okay. I was just my immediate thought was, have they been suffering bombardments of rocks or something?
But you're thinking the giants have reached here at various points in the campaign.
Okay.
Probably the previous year or the year before. And they're concentrating on dealing with the giants over rebuilding. Because you'd rather feed people than spend the money on putting the wall back up.
Yeah.
Is it worthwhile conjuring a earth elemental to help them with their repairs?
You could, except it wouldn't be knowledgeable enough into putting walls back together.
Okay, alright.
No, if you're going to be doing that, you need to be able to make a stone wall, summon up a wall or something like that.
And having like a group of dwarven craftsmen would probably be better than just applying magic.
It's a shame we can't help in that manner then.
Yeah, you can probably supply the material. You just need someone the expertise of shaping it.
But while you're rocking up, you're greeted by Lady Penhaligon herself, as she's out in her.
No, sorry, I just thought of something and then realised don't need to say it. Sorry.
She's out in her battle gear, which does look dented and rent in places. And she does look pleased to see the group of you coming down the road.
Okay. Even though there's a dragon riding a T-Rex followed by some drakes.
Well, you don't have a reputation of having murdered everything along the way.
True. We haven't. We've just had nice peaceful chats.
And you're sure that the halflings may have passed word along the river because they're very good at passing along gossip.
Okay.
And part of the reason Calcrix gives coffee and cookies to everyone she meets along the way is particularly with like halflings and that the word goes in front of her that the white dragon is not going to kill anyone.
Free
she's very
cookies.
friendly.
Free cookies is the word.
She's very sort of engaging, and so they don't try and hit her aggressively when she turns up. There's a strategy to all of the group friendliness.
Message of a request for some help. I'll help him after the game. Adrian will ask him for some help.
Alright, yep.
So she does greet Calcrix warmly, not by name though. Oh, great dragon.
Calcrix.
We are pleased with your benevolent presence.
Calcrix will dismount. She will hand over a good supply of coffee beans and inform her that there's instruction in there to give this out to her soldiers because it will help them heal. And she will try to give over a supply of cookies and hopefully Eep and Proshka, I'm going to get it. Like in 3 years.
She hands the bag over to one of her aides. He's got long flowing blonde hair. He gives a smile and you see the teeth glint off. The light glint off his teeth and eyes. He looks completely spotless from dirt. No wrinkles, no nothing. Light just seems to shimmer off him as he walks.
And who is this good sir?
Oh,
Fabio!
she says, just one of the paladins of the Order of the Griffin.
Well. Wouldn't that be Zal's area? Doesn't she have a boyfriend though?
As he heads over to make sure everyone gets a coffee.
Yeah.
You know, once you hand it over to a paladin and give them instructions, they're going to follow those instructions even if it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I'll also introduce my friends since they see me as the dragon and
Well, you're up
possibly a
front.
potential threat. This is my honoured paladin friend. Oh, you're not a paladin anymore, are you, Cheval?
He is.
Oh, okay. This is my honoured
She
paladin
is.
friend.
Yeah, he doesn't have the curse on him anymore.
Cheval, my respected friend Zal.
Does greet the paladin with reverence, considering the paladin has glowy wings.
Oh, wings are always good. So my respected friend Zal
Greets Zal in Ethengarian and wishes you long life and fast rides.
I'm running out of adjectives, but my highly skilled but delightful friend Yodri
Welcomes Yodri back, having met you in the past.
Oh, do you guys remember each other?
Well, his notoriousness in the
I see.
taverns
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
have become legend.
and my new friends, but still very much welcomed friends, Anton and
Proshka.
Proshka. Got it right
Yes.
that time.
She does greet you warmly as well,
Okay.
having heard of your exploits, and says that you're a credit to your people.
Exploits now. That
Okay,
sounds like
I
a story I want to hear
Thank
later.
you, my lady.
Though,
I say very carefully, not sure what the hell she's
Though she
talking
does
about.
say that the mass murderer was a bit of a stain on the reputation, but her people assured her it wasn't by your deeds.
Mass murder. Can I cast insight to see whether or not, or do a perception check to kind of see if I can figure out the mass murder reference?
Well, there probably was a flinch from Anton at that point.
There definitely was.
But of all the updates
Try not
that
to- try not to-
Redrian has given us and all the
Yeah, the problem is
newspapers-
I've been accused for mass murder as well, which...
Except the difference is that Anton's hand actually delivered all the blows, even if Anton wasn't behind the wheel at the time.
Right. So I
you
can
make
perceive
that?
that.
I'll just
or
say
is that player
semantics.
knowledge?
I believe Anton has told some
He's
of the
told?
characters, but
Okay.
Calcus hasn't heard it yet.
Okay.
But
I'll tell you later if you really want to know.
Yes.
That was a very, very fast answer.
But you'd also find that there wouldn't be many of the people who know who would be willing to understand.
Okay.
Calcrix would probably be one of them though, but she's still, she is insatiably curious.
So
Okay.
while she is Lady of the Area, she's also a Knight of the Realm.
Okay. If she knows all about this and she's not doing anything about it, okay, that's fine.
Because she says you have a reputation that is
Oh.
deserved, not just the bad stuff.
Okay. Thank you, my lady, I think.
So,
Well, hey, if you're a problem, I'm sure she can just contact a couple of halflings.
Look, I am doing my best to atone for what has been done. I'm doing my best to... Yes.
Yes. If you die now, you'll just be that stain on your reputation. If you achieve greatness, then her staying her hand at the bequest of her advisors means that it was worth the effort.
I'm trying to help as best I can.
So if he achieves greatness, then her not pursuing him for this mass murder is affirmed. But if he dies...
if she kills him for it,
yeah, right. Okay.
then
Yes. Sorry.
she's basically undoing a potential benefit to the nation. So she has to weigh up whether or not he's going to do more evil or more good with what time he's got left.
She's not pulling out a sword or anything, right?
She's not pulling out a sword.
Calcrix is really relieved because she does not want to have to stand between the knight and all the people and her new friend, because the new friend belongs to Zal, Cheval and Yodri, and therefore there's no choice. She protects the friend no matter how little she knows him.
But she does say if she hears of another incident like the last, then she will get involved herself.
Understood.
Almost jokingly, but hopefully out of sight of anything, both Calcrix and Eve are like,
No, if you really want to know, I'll tell you later.
no, just from the solemnness of them, which is like, we're gonna keep an eye on you.
But hey, for someone who actually knows you did it, it's the nicest welcome you've had today.
Yeah, I've been trying to actually hide all that and put it behind me.
Understandable. I'm
It's
so
just-
glad I got a filter now.
I think the truth speaks for itself that hiding it makes it worse.
Also, she has a reputation as a true seer.
Oh,
Well, that'd
okay.
be-
She probably knows more about it than I do.
Yes. And she rarely punishes those who don't deserve it.
That's nice to know.
But if you deserve it, she rarely stays the hand.
Yeah, I always knew it was dangerous me coming back to Trelondar.
This is one of the reasons why Calcrix doesn't ever visit her homeland.
It's one of the reasons you try to avoid the city of Kelvin, because inside the city itself, they would probably detect you very quickly.
Yeah, I know. This is the reason why I want to play disguise self and low profile all the time.
And their belief system in that city is you must be appropriately punished for every crime you have committed.
Calcrix points out actual physical disguise kits are actually very useful. So always have one of those on hand.
I actually don't have one.
Calcrix does. She actually has two.
Okay. I just rely on disguise self.
But, yeah.
Only lasts an hour though.
She does say that you did happen to miss out on national service due to the aforementioned incident,
Yes, I did.
which is a rarity amongst
Roger.
the people.
Yes, it is.
I was going to say that's kind of good in a way.
Well,
It is.
If he had have served in the military, then he would have a lot more protection.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
Those who were served get treated better by the Thyatian bureaucracy. She says,
Okay. Yeah.
not that she agrees with it.
I know.
That-
Slavery is not a good
So
thing.
so what counts as service? 1 year, 2 years? 10?
The person signs up for however long they wish to, and they generally sign up a year at a time.
Technically, I was going to say technically you sign up for a week.
Yeah, you get sent on a suicide mission then.
A lot of them are there for 5 years.
All
Is the
kidding
average
aside,
time.
if given the opportunity, if the paladin turns up again and I'm allowed to do it, I'll give him a little business card, which gives the details of how to contact Grindel Waffle to get actual coffee plants up here, so that they can have their own supply of beans that have healing properties. If you're okay with that as a
I'm
GM.
okay with that.
Yep.
And so she invites you all to a feast.
Oh,
I
the feast's already.
won't
Yay!
miss that.
Yep.
And she does say to Yodri, please keep your pants on during this feast this time.
Yeah.
So what have you...
Player and character laugh out loud.
I'll just smirk.
Yeah, she does not wish to see that tattoo again.
Ooh, what's the tattoo? Go on, Yodri. What's the tattoo? You don't have to tell us.
Actually, I can't remember. It keeps on changing.
Oh, that's what I want in real life, because I can never make up my mind.
And it's always it always appears offensive to whoever looks at it.
Oh, well, in that case, I don't want to see it.
Well, you do get these things when you manage to get the attention of a chaos god.
Well, is this like Loki tattooed him, or?
Or something along those lines.
Oh, interesting. Surprised Eep hasn't spoken up at this point.
There's a good chance he has not given the right honorific to one of his pantheon, and they gave him a reminder. That's all good. Halflings need every now and then.
Yeah, that's why I state the gods be crazy.
Okay, so yes, there is lots of food. The tables don't have any particular structure. You find that you're welcome to sit at any table, as the lady Penhaligon doesn't have a high table anyway. She just sits with the troops as
Kind of, if the rest of the group are okay with it, kind of want to sit close to her, because she seems like the person to ask questions about.
I'm quite happy to
What's
sit
going
with
on?
just ordinary people and just talk and find out. Just let them talk and listen.
Yep.
Whereas Proshka probably wanders off to try to find hidden secrets.
Yeah.
well. He knows most of the secrets are generally dropped around the lady, because it's part of the curse of a true seer is people tend to not lie and reveal way too much
He
around
likes
her.
petty secrets, though.
But some of the secrets they say are like, oh, I thought I'd wear orange today because I know it annoys my boss. And people would just say that around her.
Yeah.
Him.
Lady
Oh,
Penhaligon.
her. Right. Yeah.
Like as a
Right. I see.
as a truth seer, her
That-
curse
yeah.
is people will see the truth around her.
Around her. Yeah.
Oh.
Does any of us say any truths around her?
Well, you haven't tried to lie to her.
Okay, alright. Well, then that won't be a problem, because Calcrix is generally not a liar.
Okay.
She omits, because for some people's safety she has to, but she doesn't outright directly lie.
Try to get people to talk about their experiences. You know, if they're spending a lot of their time fighting giants, you know, I want to hear about.
Yeah.
Well, they say that there's 3 different armed forces here at the moment. They're wondering whether or not they're going to be force marched out into Darrakan to help relieve the forces there. But they've been hard pressed fighting giants at this stage, and they have one set of troops either going to relieve or having been relieved at any particular time, and one at the front and one resting.
Okay, and the giants sound like they're organised, because what I little know about hill giants, organisation's not their strong point.
They have built a impressive settlement up in the mountains,
Okay,
and there's thousands of them.
there's thousands of them.
Yes.
Okay,
What our seers have told us is all the hill giants of the world have gathered in this one city.
You
Okay.
happen to give all this information at a point in time on a stupid placer.
I don't think I have a spare.
I do, but I have to. Oh, there they are. I was gonna say,
And-
hopefully.
I'll let them know. Look, we're going to see the giants. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do when we get there, but you know, if it comes to fighting, what's their usual style? They just sort of mindlessly charge, throwing rocks or whatever. Or
It's
is
empty.
it was there any more?
So originally when we were fighting the giants, they were rather mindless.
Yeah.
And over the last 4 years, they have been fighting with more intelligence.
Before
Okay.
too much more information is given, can you just give me a sec to go get a pencil? So I can write this down, because I have an incredibly short memory.
Is it just hill giants?
Just hill giants.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm just trying to work. Just, curious to know how they become so organised.
so you said there's one at the front, one resting, and then
one in transit, either going to relieve or having just been relieved.
Like 3 shifts.
And there was a settlement with thousands of hill giants.
And it's believed to be all the hill giants of the world.
And I take it there's never been any peaceful discussion at all. There's always been violence, all encounters with the giants.
The giants themselves believe they're the superior race.
Yeah, okay. So they don't just automatically say you should do what we say. They just attack without.
They just take.
Okay.
So if they see a person, the person's either food or slave.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And you just don't know it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So for a while now, they've been fighting a containment war.
Yeah.
Because we were going to go and drive them out, but once we got anywhere near the mountains, rocks would come flying too big for any of their formations to advance through.
Yeah, if there's thousands of giants, I can see.
And there are some of the older hill giants, and they're bigger.
Sounds like
Okay.
a job for a paladin, cleric / wizard.
The last group they had to go talk to them had a conversation and left, and didn't tell anyone what they found out.
Oh, really?
Mm.
That's
Useful.
Wednesday group.
I was going to say Wednesday's group because it's not Tuesday.
Well, hey, Friday's group went to the starship, opened the doors, and left, causing Wednesday group a whole lot of trouble.
You
I
know,
think the semantics
I feel
behind
like
that
we
were a
performed
little
a
bit more
service.
complicated.
I know, but I've simplified everything and left it for you to talk to.
No, you forgot to mention that we did start turning some stuff on.
yeah, and then things went incredibly awry, and then we were given a certain amount of warnings, and we thought, let's heed those warnings and leave. I think, to sum it up a little bit more fairly,
It wasn't warnings so much as that we had a time skip.
yeah.
And things happened.
Hey, the GM likes to skip some details because it's funny.
yeah, we noticed.
Yeah, let's all practice and use the old time skip and try to think about the cats in the tree.
Which one's the space cats?
You mean
I think it was
the one that
The samurai space cats.
oh yeah, I was going to say
Oh no! Every time we think about it, we forget again.
That one.
no,
Yes.
that's the other one.
Cheshire cat.
Yeah.
I don't have anything related to that hidden in my scales, let alone 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've not mentioned them for a very long time, so hopefully people are slowly forgetting that I have them. I really need to look up more information about that, except I don't want to keep forgetting. So they just stay there.
Well,
We
I
got
think
these.
the gods have kind of gone bye-bye for a moment, so I think we actually might be the right time to start talking about that.
It
period
could
of time.
be. Just to fill Gary in very briefly, I think there's 4 of these special powerful, 5 of these special powerful magical green seeds.
One of them was put on the mountain in Ethengar that is almost impossible to get up.
And I have 2.
Oh, okay.
Because in our adventures, we came across them, and I was keeping them for safekeeping, and because I have the scales that can store things.
And they were
In?
all originally stolen from Dracula.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And they're also incredibly dangerous.
I am very. That's why I don't mention them, and I
And they're
try
cursed.
not to mention them to anyone because I don't want Dracula turning up to take them off me.
Most people have them, get the benefit of them for maybe about 100 years,
Yeah.
and then afterwards things go horribly wrong for them. So like you have all this luck,
did
and
we-
then suddenly this
Yeah.
curse.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to
Did
look
we
into
work
that.
out what happens if we actually did take them back to their rightful owner?
That's what I got to look into.
No one knows because there are many people who can claim to be the rightful owner, including a group of fire orcs.
Okay.
But that's that background. Okay, so we've got 3 different armed forces that rotate. Forces of pretty much all the hill giants, so thousands. They're in a containment war, you
They're
said.
trying to contain them. Yeah.
Because they can't push them back, but they don't want them to run rampant over their part of civilization.
Yeah.
What did Rivian said we should do? We should. I can't remember what it was we're supposed to do.
Yeah, what did... do you happen to remember what Redrian's...
So Redrian's talking about finding more information from them, because if you can get
Who's
access
controlling
to the storm giants, then you might actually get an ability to influence the giants.
Okay, that does sound familiar.
And it's
Because the storm
giants.
giants were the dragons' representatives amongst the giants,
Okay.
and they've disappeared off the world.
And it sounds like the only way we're going to get them to listen is if they see you, Calvins.
Mm-hmm. Which
Because-
is what the Lady of Shadows or the Lady of the Dark?
The Dark Lady.
The Dark Lady. The Dark Lady, that's the reason why she
Yeah.
asked the Queen of Darkness to purloin me from my current party and put me back here.
Yeah.
So a good representation of hill giants in comparison to people.
Yeah.
What about in
Okay.
comparison to dragons?
So they could walk off with you still.
Oh, yeah, because that's a horse in his arms.
Yes.
So that's hill giants in comparison to dragons
they're
as well.
they're huge.
And I will
I
show
was gonna
those
say,
online
camera?
as well. Dice picture. So I thought you would like that representation of a hill giant. When it's in its arms is a horse. So does that give you a lot of faith in what you're doing right now?
No.
No comment from online.
Sometimes I think they've all
I'm good at hiding.
Looks like a challenge.
Okay, so while you're resting and having some relaxation, I will also suggest that have a look at the items Drazzle has and any items you have. You may want to chain swap some items around with people between this session and the next,
Okay. Well,
because you might find that they have items that seem to suit how you're playing better than what you have, or they might work better with items you've got.
yeah.
Just because we have two item hoarders in the group besides Drazzle.
Oh, do we?
Yes, we have a item hoarder in Tuesday night and an item hoarder in Wednesday night, and
Okay.
and when I say item hoarder, it goes into their pile of stuff and doesn't come out again.
Okay. We'll have a look at Drazzle's got and what he might want to trade.
Well, he holds these items from fallen companions.
I might get you to help me to look at that list because digital is still really difficult for me, even though I'm
It's all good.
pushing myself further. Like the writing is killing and the sitting up
Yep.
is
He's also not great.
earning.
Okay, so yes.
Don't end the game short
Yep.
for that.
No, I wasn't ending the game. I was just giving people some food for thought while
Yep.
we were still
Yep.
playing. So it's actually also recorded on camera if they watch back again.
Yep.
But
So I just wanted to check in. So Regin wants us. Why have they gathered, as in the hill giants? Who's organising them and why? Where are the storm giants who used to control them? Was there a third thing? Another thing that you mentioned just there?
I think the
On the
fact that they're congregating is a
Oh.
bad thing for most people. The storm giants used to be their police, and they're the representatives of the dragons. So while they were giants themselves, they were less liked by the other giants because they kept them from congregating. Because while the storm giants were involved, the dragons didn't get involved.
Yeah.
So I may not be welcome. They might attack me outright because dragon's bad.
But they've had this imposed on them since the times of since Tiamat
I
disappeared.
don't know that we've got any other way into them, because it sounds like as soon as I see you, they're going to say submit or die or
Don't
something.
get me wrong, Halcrix goes into situations even if it's a bad idea.
Okay.
But learning that the hill giants have regained some of their magical potential is enough to scare a lot of spellcasters.
Oh, so they have regained some of their magical potential.
They have.
So they've actually got shamans.
How do we know that? Like, what
It's
tells
been
us that?
reported that they've been using the giant portal system that has been inert for thousands of years. Which is how all the hill giants have congregated in this mountain range. They
I
don't
wonder why
walk
they've
across.
chosen here.
This is probably one of their
It's a good question.
central points, and you may be able to ask them why. It might be personality, it might be artifact, it might be pure luck.
If we're going to be communicating with, does anyone actually speak Giantish? I don't.
I believe I do, but
You
I
do?
don't know my shit.
You
Yeah,
do
so
know
I do,
Jode-
because I'm a
because
dragon.
They refer to it as Jotun, the giant language,
Okay.
which
Well, I
is
don't.
the official D&D version of it. But
I-
I've
Why
taken it.
not just
I don't speak Giantish.
I can talk to them for an hour.
I can talk to them for all time.
Yeah. That's the same here. I can do it for an hour or two and then have to cast a spell again.
And there's a good chance that they can speak. Some of them can speak the local language. Though depending on who's doing the translating, you might not trust it.
Yeah.
And
Did you say thousands of years?
Yeah.
Maybe we should speak to her ladyship, whose name I didn't write down, to find out what
Just
Lady
Lady
Penhaligon.
Lady
Pen-
Penhaligon,
Penhaligon.
about what we should do or what we should expect or anything that she'd like us to do.
Well, she says expect them to be not the historically depicted versions of hill giants.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting the picture
As
of.
in they look different? Or they act
no, they
different?
look the same, but they're acting smarter and smarter. It's almost like the more of them that get together, the smarter they become.
Okay.
I wonder if it's like a hive mind.
That's what she.
All the brain cells together,
That's what she believes because in none of recorded history have they been this smart. They're outsmarting her forces on the field of battle.
Okay, so what, you're saying that they're smarter than the storm giants?
They could be.
The more we hear, the worse this sounds.
Oh no, I knew it was going to get bad. Just wait to hear how
This
bad
is where
it's
we
gonna
go. This is where we need to speak to a dragon and go, "Hey, dragon, why was the giants always being dispersed?"
Now, I presume I may not have a lot of good historical knowledge because I haven't been brought up with the dragons.
It's not part of the lore you've had a chance to look into.
Yeah, okay. I was looking at getting legend lore, depending on if you'd allow me to have it. Is that something I can
Something you
cast?
can cast.
Because I know I'm committed to legend lore. That's on 3... No, not 3. I've written down the page number... I hope... 653. Which is why I know I've committed to legend lore, because I wrote the page number down.
653.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Unless I wrote the number wrong. Because
So if 653 is into the
could it
character
be
sheet,
453 then? And I've mixed up my numbers because my hands get bad and my brain hurts, and then I miswrite things down when that happens. I kind of get like a fritz for a second, and then
legend
I'll like
lore is 563.
563. Yeah.
So you got the numbers
Mixed
correct,
up.
just in the wrong order.
Yeah. Crap. 563. Yeah, that'll be a brain fritzing because the handwriting hurts.
So it cost you 300 gold each casting.
Yep, I'm fairly aware of that. I'm pretty sure I've got that, but I have to check. Are you happy for me? I'm pretty sure I have it, but I'll minus it when I do all my spells and everything over the weekend.
Okay, so yes, it only takes you 10 minutes to do it. It would be a ritual, not a spell,
Cast legend.
At 10-minute casting, it's never a spell, it's always a ritual. That's a good way, if you want to know what's a ritual or not, is if its casting time is more than one action.
You said 300 gold.
Yeah.
250 in gold and 50 in 4 blank bound books to be the recipient of
That's
the
one of the
spell.
reasons why I'm going to markets and picking up stuff like blank bound books.
Okay, so having
Let me just fix that. Crap. It keeps going blunt. This is why I had a pacer.
okay, so you end up casting that spell and getting a bound volume set on giants.
I get a
A 4-book set on
4-book
giants.
set on giants.
Specifically.
Not the really dead skin off.
It's okay.
Sorry about that.
Em had forgotten she was not on mute.
That's okay.
Okay, so you end up with this 4-bound set on hill giants
Thanks.
specifically, talking about how they were a part of the ranks of the dragon god Tiamat before she was erased from existence.
A part of the ranks, did you say?
Yeah,
Tina?
ranks.
Yep. I'm just trying. Yep.
And as such, they were more powerful in number
Thank
than
you.
they ever were individually. So the collective intelligence of them would grow
Thank you.
if you had enough of them together. There's a small little bin just next to the chair.
Oh, there. Good.
Save you having to go all the way to the other one.
So if we could separate them, they'd become dumb.
And so part of the Great One's task was to stop the giants themselves bringing back Tiamat as part of her servants,
Okay.
and had directed that they be kept apart, not form communities. And that the mention of the name Tiamat had become a punishable by death crime amongst their population,
Giants.
amongst the giant population.
Oh, so if we mention Tiamat to the giants when we go up there, they might kill us?
The Great One had instituted that amongst the giants
Ah.
to try to prevent the Chaos God coming back, who was teaching the giants that they were above everyone else and could do whatever they wanted.
So it was the Great One's task to keep them apart, but obviously the Great One's not doing that now because the dragons have disappeared. And we learned a lot of history about the dragons that I'm going to have to go read up on before next game. But about all of their hierarchy and their fights and things.
So in comparison, in relation to the giants, there's not a lot of law on dragons there because they're kept to the outskirts. But the hill giants were under the control of the storm giants.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yep.
storm giants was the only community of giants that still existed. And it was founded to the probably amongst the Minropad Isles, which is south of Karamikos.
So aside from hill
And
giants,
the communities that have sprung up are almost aligned from that point north.
so you said when you say it's the only community of giants that still existed.
That had existed when the dragons had
Oh,
disbanded.
that had existed when the dragons disbanded.
Because they were the central point of maintaining the giants, and they were the only community who did not worship Tiamat.
Dragons got a lot to answer for. Oh, wait a minute, that's me. Shh.
But should not caught up with their politics, so, you know.
And one of the notations says that the cult of the dragon wanting to bring back Tiamat has interfered with the storm giants.
I have a feeling that this is related to that. I'm like, this is why I've been dragged into this to a degree. Not that I mind, because I get to see all of my family again and make new family, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I got to deal with this already.
So if I bring one of the other maps up into focus, so see this area down here?
That's
For you
right.
guys?
Where did they
What's it called?
Minrathade Guilds.
Minrathade Guilds?
So if you go straight up roughly this way, you go into Karamikos where you are here. You go north, somewhere over here is believed is where another of the communities are, up here as well, and then further north. So from a perspective of this map here, it pretty much goes like that is the direction where the giants are.
Okay.
And that's where all the different communities have, with the frost giants being up into the glacial region. And the dragon community is right here. This is where the dragons have congregated.
Okay.
Okay.
And did you say the
Minrathade Isles,
Isles?
which is called the Minrathade Guilds is the region, but the island chain is called the Minrathade Isles.
Did you say that that's where they were first appeared, but they're no longer there?
That's where the storm giants are believed to have a place, but it's something that non-giants don't seem to be able to find. Hidden from those who can abuse it. Though the giant transportation runes can connect any of their settlements to the storm giant settlement.
Which is probably how these giants are getting around. Rune portal system.
So Tiamat gave the giants the first runes,
Okay.
even though the dragons claim to be the rune makers.
Well, technically Tiamat's a dragon.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. I guess that's. Is there anything else, Legend?
That was basically a big chunk of information on them. They talk about
Anything about their weaknesses?
that the main weakness is if they're separated, they're easier to deal with.
Split them up.
Generally, the more of them in one group, the harder they are to deal with.
How close together do they have to be for that to be an issue?
That information is not known.
I was going to say no clues on what's a good way to split them up, such as, I don't know, a giant illusion of bunnies because they're scared of bunnies. I think as convenient as that.
They're scared of dragons.
Do you guys want to all be dragons for a bit?
If you know how to make us look like dragons.
No, but I'm working on
But
it.
you also have 3 drakes with you that
Yeah.
are obviously drakes. A T-Rex, which may as well as be a dragon. It's a giant lizard, which most giants might not know the difference of.
Do you want us to be riding drakes now?
Yeah, that's probably gonna be what's happening. I need a paladin. Oh, I've only got 3 drakes. Oh, but then there's me.
Mhm.
So and Eep can ride the. Oh no, Eep riding the T-Rex is probably not a good idea.
Excuse me.
I'm sure you've got a ranger in the group who could, help with the T-Rex.
T-Rex, yeah. And then she can say she's ridden. He can say he's ridden a T-Rex too, as well as griffins, etc., etc.
So I was waiting for Josh to pipe up there.
Oh, sorry.
What's this?
I said you do technically have a ranger in the group who could
Ah, we don't
help
have
with
those.
T-Rex.
I don't know. You need
There,
to
there
pay
are
attention.
no rangers in this party.
I feel offended.
No rangers whatsoever.
I feel very offended.
We have failed rangers, but they're not rangers.
I'm very, very offended.
Don't they have to be a ranger to fail at being a ranger?
They may cease to be a ranger when they fail.
Exactly.
I think Martin is technically talking about Indy. Not
Yes.
Indy.
I am.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, but we'd need to try and get her to be free. Fortunately, I don't know if the forces of the real world will allow that to happen at the moment.
I believe Imni would be ecstatic to ride the dragon.
Of course you would.
Of course, you call it a dragon, not a T-Rex, because that's sounds better.
I don't know. I think Imni would love to ride a T-Rex too.
Yeah, she hasn't been traumatized by said T-Rex. This is
No, she hasn't, has she? Because that was Camdo back then.
And it is definitely probably Zal's bad night sleeps most of the way along, as dreaming about the T-Rex going down and biting her. Or biting him.
I still have those scars. Still have.
Yes, and you should have used your ring to charm it.
Why would I have done that?
Why would Zal remember something so simple as Yodri's instructions?
Yes, you forgot all my instructions of just saying, yes, just charm it with this ring of animal control.
You probably weren't Yodri then.
We'll still be, I think.
And yes, Yodri did say that in the previous session.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we worked out that
Oh,
sorcerers should not use Pokeballs.
So how are you doing? Are you getting tired?
Look, this is always late for me. I'm fine. I'm not. Don't
I
be
try not to push too much for some people who have to drive.
I get up early and I have an early night, so it's. I'm always going to be a bit coming across as.
All good. Well, I have chronic fatigue, so I'm always tired. It's like a superpower.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so we are. You've got all this information at the Penhaligon estate. She comes across as very humble to most of you, though a lot of you don't really want to sit near her after seeing all the things people blurt out around her and her being the that's nice dear sort of approach to people, because she doesn't like getting everyone's secrets all the time.
Calcrix does not mind.
I'm happy to sit with the ordinary folk.
Well, so is she. So she basically has no ranks or titles in the.
Yeah. And I am not going to get drunk again and do the infamous streaker run.
So you say.
Though you do find most of your drinks are topped up every time you turn away.
Someone wants you to get drunk and run around naked.
Oh, well, the other thing is it takes a little bit more to get me drunk now.
What is the best route to get close to the giants?
So
Yeah,
basically,
where should we
there
go?
is a day to the crossroads where the two rivers meet, and then 2 days up the river to the actual place.
So we have to cross the Castellan River.
Yes, you cross at the intersection of the Castellan and the High Reach. They've created a ford there, not a bridge because it wouldn't survive.
And so we follow the High Reach River into the mountains. That's where the hill giants are.
They have their path along the edge of it because any other sort of path would not be at the group's best interest.
I hesitate to suggest this because I'm not keen on the idea, but it might be better if we flew.
They do say flight will give you some advantages, but it also makes you an easy target.
Yeah.
They do have magic.
So yeah, some yes. Well, okay. That discourages me from the idea. I've been put off the whole idea of riding and flying.
And their magic is about earth magic, and they will throw rocks the size of your giant lizard there at people.
Okay. That's a big rock to throw.
Yeah, and that sort of rock can actually form up from the ground around you.
How
Okay,
do you
so walking is not
counteract
going to help.
Earth?
Generally, flight is the way you beat it, but you're also vulnerable to it. The ones that seem to work best against it is generally fire and water.
Do we try to approach stealthily, or do we approach and sort of say, you know, we are dragons, we are the best.
She looks at you and says, with a giant lizard and a dragon, stealth doesn't seem to be your strong point.
I know it doesn't.
And then you've got this glowy winged paladin over here.
Okay, all right. So we have to. I think the
Well, on the plus side, at least he's not beaming paladin.
I don't know. That might scare them.
I didn't have any ideas for how we could do it stealthy. I was thinking whether we should try to be stealthy. That's all.
I can be stealthy.
I mean, yeah.
Well, she can vouch for how stealthy Yodri is when he dodged out of the town last time without paying the bill for the damages.
How
It was
how
not
bad
my
was the
fault.
damage, Audrey?
It's not my fault. The dwarf had it coming.
Well, she's not laying blame or anything. She's actually congratulating you at your ability to sneak out of town after causing the amount of damage you did when you were last here.
It looks like you're not in trouble about causing the damage, Audrey.
Problem with a true seer is they will say the bad with the good.
Oh no, she's already seen what happened. What the gnomes got their revenge on me. Oh, pricks.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
What did they do?
They stopped him from drinking alcohol until he paid.
Until he got a foundling back to its family.
Yeah.
That might be
Which the gnomes gave up on because it was too frustrating for them.
They couldn't talk to the foundling at all. It looked like a goblin, but they had been in their care for over 500 years without aging.
Okay.
Well, that'll be why my sharpener wasn't effective. It was full.
Getting back to the problem at hand, I think we're looking at flying as much as I dislike the idea.
Or going in openly.
I think going in openly.
I
think we should try and maybe get a grand boat or raft together and just like make a big impressive, entrance. Like, not only are we meant to be there, that as the dragon of the group, I'm in command.
And also give Yodri a chance to go too. What were you saying, Yodri?
I've got a sneaking suspicion it's not one person commanding it. I think it's probably a group.
Yeah. Well, actually, a lot of the encounters we've come across recently, it's been one person. Usually, like someone like the Master, say, or like the people controlling the undead.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll probably be a hill giant if it is.
No, it's not going to be a hill giant. It's going to be someone smart enough to organise them.
Well, then again, it might be when they all gather together, there is somebody who's a hill giant actually becomes smart enough to be the brains of the operation.
Yeah, there might be a key.
Okay, just look at the hill giant with the biggest head.
That's what I was thinking, the brain giant.
Do I know anything about their culture to know whether or not that happens when they're in large gatherings? Or?
The fact that they used to be like that, there's not a lot of knowledge of what they have now.
Yeah.
You got a lot of knowledge to help you now, but not of what they used to be.
Not of what they used to be.
Just that they used to work for the dragon god Tiamat.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Before Tiamat had dragon followers.
And do I know much about Tiamat in terms of enough to kind of be her representative?
You could bluff it, but you don't really know it.
Yeah.
Is it possible that some of the dragons haven't gone and that there's a dragon behind this?
I looked at Drazzle.
Well, you did have in the notations that you looked in the books that the cult of the dragon, which doesn't necessarily be dragons themselves, has gotten involved in
I missed that bit.
And the cult of the dragon relates to Tuesday Night's group, who managed to abscond with a dragon hatchery before the party could steal it. And the party couldn't follow them because they outsmarted the party.
do not remember that.
That was season 1 of
Oh,
Tuesday
so
Night
pre
Screen.
me joining that group.
Okay, so
That was
look for a
2019.
kobold.
They
Yeah,
stole
yeah.
eggs.
The Dragon Hatchery, which is one of the dragon relics, much like the Forge of Power that Drek destroyed.
Okay, so
or the Tree of Life.
if they've stolen the hatchery, they may have at least one egg and have been able to
It may not
produce
be.
a baby.
It may not be stolen from their perspective. It may be recovered for the
Yeah.
dragons.
But if it's a hatchery, it'd only be a very small dragon. You can't. It's hard to see how that could be the brains of the operation.
So,
I'm
from
only-
the people of this world, most of the species have a relic that is linked to their gods directly.
Okay.
So the elves have the Tree of Life,
Oh,
culture
so the dragon
has-
hatchery maybe.
and the Dragon Hatchery is their version of the Tree of Life. The dwarves have the Forge of Power, and the halflings have the Black Flame.
Okay.
And each one of these is so culturally entwined that if someone was to destroy the relic, they'd wipe the race out.
Okay.
And so the dragons would have gone to great lengths to subtly move something like that, because those things can't be moved through extra-dimensional space, teleported or anything. It has to be physically moved.
Yeah.
And,
And the giants may have this now.
the giants may have this, or they may have their own one,
Yeah. Okay.
They may have their own
relic. That
Like a
Relic.
black flame or a dragon hatchery or something. Yeah. Okay. Tree of life.
And so these relics also act as a anti-undead emanation. So wherever those things are found, you won't find a lot of undead.
So they may well be what's brought them together.
For the Tree of Life, for the elves, it teaches all the elves and helps them choose their first name.
Okay.
So it can actually communicate with them. Whereas the Forge of Power is generally something is made for them out there when the dwarves get a prophecy of their death, and this is their final death. No matter how many times they die, if this sequence of events ever happens, they can't be brought back because they've achieved their final end.
Okay.
And that's is done at the Forge of Power. So they all have interesting religious ties to their cultures.
Do humans have such a thing?
The humans do not. They're one of the few who don't seem to have one.
Okay.
But there are more different types of humans out there than there are of the other races.
So this could have nothing to do with the dragons at all, and could be all about this relic that the giants have. We have to figure out what the relic is, I guess.
And from what you've gathered, where they formed is where they used to reside. From the knowledge of the books.
So
What about other types of giants? So that, would they
It's
have
called Mystara
similar
something.
things be going on? Have their own particular relics, like stone giants, fire
They
giants?
would probably have the same relic, but one for them.
Mithrathad Guilds region
Yeah.
and the Mithrathad Isles.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Mithrathad Guilds is the nation that the Mithrathad Isles are in.
Yeah.
And so the mountain range here is almost the border between Karamikos and Thyatis. And they seem to be in that borderland region.
Okay. Well, arriving in splendour and looking powerful is about the only thing we can come up with, really.
Well, I think if dragons scare them, and our idea is to go in with all drakes and T-Rexes and so on, we might as well see if the lady will give us a boat that's big enough to look impressive, that we can present ourselves on. So it looks like we're actually an official representative entourage of the dragons, and we don't have to sneak in there because we're there to tell them what to do.
Yeah. I think our objective is to. We've got a lot of speculation and very little hard evidence.
She does say if you give her a week, she can get the halflings to build some sort of raft at the cross roads of the two rivers.
Yeah.
How would we control such a raft?
You've got a halfling amongst you.
I was going to say there's a half.
Jodri, you're going to run this giant raft that's going to carry drakes and
Yeah, be a
T-Rex?
ship. It won't be a raft, it'll be a ship.
Something.
A riverboat.
A riverboat.
Yeah, riverboat,
So I'm
probably.
just wondering, you know, as you get up, rivers can be shallow, can be rocky, can be tight.
It's alright, you'll man the oars.
I'm just thinking, would the boat even be able to get up river?
Well, they
That's what the oars are for.
If the halflings built it, then yes.
Okay.
They are the river folk.
Well, I'm just getting, you know,
I may be sea folk, but I know the
rivers
river
aren't
folk.
smooth. They're, yeah.
And you also got enough strength amongst you to carry it over narrows
Okay.
and across rapids.
All right.
But that's if you want to go down that path.
I'm still thinking on my own feet sounds the best.
Well, you'd be standing on the deck.
Yeah.
And plus, you could also just tie a rope to your giant lizard there and have it pull it along the riverbank.
I don't know. Would your T-Rex want to pull a boat?
They'll do anything I say.
You'd
Especially
be motivated by cookies.
I was going to, especially if I put Eep on his forehead with a little, like, fishing line and a cookie on the end. He'll just keep going towards that cookie that he can't reach.
And from
It's kinda
a
cruel,
hill
but
giant
funny.
perspective, the T-Rex is puppy.
Not as impressive unless it'd be more impressive if it roared a lot, I think.
Well, as in the equivalent of, imagine a large wolfhound or husky sized dog. in
So maybe
comparison
not
to you.
puppy, but dog. You know, guard dog type thing. Hopefully more guard dog than puppy.
Well, puppy means cute. to
Oh,
them.
so the giants...
May see it as cute size instead of
Okay.
prey.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're giants, so we probably all prey. And we'll be entirely relying on
Appearance.
appearances. This pencil, I think, has got broken lead all the way through it because every time I sharpen it, it breaks 2 seconds later.
Yeah, quite possibly. I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I'm just frustrated with it.
Okay, so yes, she's happy to arrange that, but you probably end up spending a week here while she does so.
Okay.
How
Better-
critical is
but-
time to us?
Better not to have something to pull the giants to you while you're in the crossroads and waiting there, because they are likely to come and investigate something different.
So yeah, do we have a week?
Okay, well, we can see what the weather's like, and what the river is going to be. That may affect how fast we can travel.
I probably also have. Oh no, I don't know if I still have a cantrip to make us go faster.
We're starting to come into autumn, aren't we?
I was just going to bring up the timeline.
He's just checking.
Okay, where did I have it? There it is. Timeline, may as well go to the correct year and look at that, and you're looking at month 8. Month 8 is the final month of summer, so you're still in summer, which is not a bad time of the year. And as the day is currently the 9th, the next day is a day of the eclipse, so it's a day of ill omen.
Yeah, so maybe waiting for a little bit might be a good idea.
That's
Because
one day.
most days of the eclipse are where the undead will strike.
Might be any undead around here though.
With their ruined walls and things, they might need extra soldiers here.
Yeah, okay, we can stay one day.
I'm pretty sure the paladin will love killing all the undead if there's undead.
The regions are said to be infested with ghouls.
Yay.
Okay. So we stay a day and then head off. There's still a question of do we walk or do we fly? Well, I'm not keen
Boat,
on,
special boat.
I'm not keen on the special
Boat to
boat,
go
but
up
anyway.
river.
I'm happy to wait a week for a special boat.
If we've got a week, I'm happy to wait a week. It lets us investigate. We can help these guys out while they recover from the fights. I've got 4 books here that I can spend a little bit more time reading. you can listen in on the chatter amongst the soldiers and the people on the front line. You might pick up something that's useful.
Yeah. All right. If that's the consensus.
Only fools rushing.
Also thinking a boat when they throw rocks doesn't sound like a great way to approach them.
I'd rather be on a boat than in flight.
Yeah.
Falling while being hit by a rock.
I'm not keen on the whole flight. I've had some bad experiences with this flying stuff. Boat seems worse.
Yes and no. You can get away quicker.
And the benefit of the boat, the boat on the water, is if you jump in the water and go downstream, you'll be going away from the giants.
Yeah.
And that's something. I don't know how to
Yeah.
swim. But,
Instead of being on the ground, where
You
you
have proficiency in athletics.
Pardon?
Do you have proficiency in athletics?
Of course not. No. It's
okay.
I gotta admit, I probably am safer on a river than I am in the sky. But
So we need to get some potions of water breathing in.
I've got a water breathing spell, which works on a number of people for 1 hour. It's not too high up on the list. Because I remember last time I was going to use it, we happened to be in that really lucky situation where we're in the realm of thought. So if we just believed we could breathe underwater, we could. And I'm like, I wasted my spell.
we can believe we can swim. We can believe we can walk on water.
Yep.
Well,
there is a spell called Water Walk.
Someone had gone there and believed that the occupants were dead, so they were dead.
Actually, the water breathing works for 24 hours. It's water walk that only lasts 1 hour. But I'd look it up at the time we had to cast it. It is here somewhere.
So if you manage to make it to the giants by the 15th of the month for
How
the
long
night
away?
of the full moon, you are on the 9th at the moment. You will find Chauvel has a boosting power.
Okay, Cheval, did you hear that?
If we...
If we're there on the night of the 15th.
Night of the 15th is the holy day of his god.
If we can figure out a faster spell or something like that, we might be able to do that.
You can even do it by if you wait till from 9th. You would basically, if you wait a week, you'll miss it. If you go straight there, you'll make it in time.
Okay, so no boat.
Depends on if you want to get the benefit of Chauvel at the height of his power.
Yes. When is that ever a no?
He was very impressive last time he was like that.
So the downside of this thing is, if he
Right,
witnesses
that's it.
any crime on that day, he must execute the person.
Okay.
Hmm.
She.
If she witnesses a crime.
What
on
do
that
you
day.
know about this power of yours? Is it worth us going up there on that day, or is it better for us to proceed as normal?
Going up when she could potentially be murder.
But if yeah, the execution part could cause political problems. Like if they're enslaving people or something like that, and we're trying to sway them, and then she just starts executing people, that could be problematic. But at the same time, like you said, it could also be extremely advantageous. What does Chauvel think, though? Which is the more important question.
What does Chauvel want to do the ceremony here amongst the other paladins,
Oh,
and then head off with the boat and all that done?
Excuse me.
What's the paladin want to do?
Yeah.
I don't know what the paladin would do here.
well, Martin just said there'd be a ceremony with the other paladins.
Yeah, I'll go have basically a conference of paladins.
And there'd be a good chance any of the Ethengarians in the region who hear of you would show up for it as well.
So it's a day of.
It's a holy day for the Ethengarian god of law,
Okay.
which is also the sun god who's terrorizing the region.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Same god, but different name.
Is this the one that Cheval had his almost hypothesis and going around flying and flaming in the middle of the night, on Midsummer's Day?
That's that god.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
But this is his religious holy day for that culture.
Okay.
So he can either do it at the Giants or do it here. But he'd want to do it, or she would want to do it at a community.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to be here. We're staying for a week. If we're going to be here that long, I'm quite happy to actually accompany their patrols or anything, because it'd be good to actually see these giants, get some idea of how they operate.
Okay, from that perspective, only the Giants are kept east of this river.
Okay.
How good is their sense of smell?
East of which river?
The Castilian River.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it off this side.
Yep.
They can't keep them closer to the mountains than that because they don't have the forces. But the river's enough of a barrier that they can potentially get them, even though because they can't step over the river.
But technically, if we're there for a week, you might be able to travel up with a patrol up that way to do that scouting.
Yeah, yeah.
You could scout ahead amongst the group and avoid the Day of Judgment.
I might end up scouting with you.
That's what I was thinking of doing, because a bunch of paladins is just going to cause so much trouble.
And what they consider a crime and what you consider a crime might be two different things.
Yeah.
And the ranger that changed careers might enjoy it too.
Though he'd probably enjoy the ceremony because it's something that he's grown up with.
Okay. Oh, because Zell's Ethengarian too.
Yes.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't enjoy the whole like peacekeeping part, but if there's any other clerical aspects to it, probably yes.
Well, it's one of the holy events of the year, and it's celebrated.
Celebrated.
It's like missing Easter or Halloween. You go for the food, ignore the literature.
Yeah, but even then that could cause an insult to the damn paladins.
Well, as long as you haven't broken the law, you're fine. You can insult them all you like.
It's just what laws they consider a law that's
Sounds like
relevant.
an episode. Oh, sorry, say that again.
You know, broken a law. What laws are relevant here? What laws are not? You know.
When you deal with a paladin, they don't have compromise.
I know. Well, they don't have perspective. You know, like there are local laws, there are general laws, there are moral laws, there are physical laws. Which laws are we talking about here?
Most of them only care about the spiritual laws.
The spiritual laws. Okay, I don't know what they are. So I think I'd rather be out of town.
The Ethengarians would know all the laws that they have to abide by, and the people would also be told if he's doing the ceremony there.
I'm just wondering whether if I jaywalked once, whether that would be relevant.
From a people who don't have roads, no.
I was just going to say, it reminds me of one of those episodes of like Police 10-7 or Border Patrol, not Border Patrol, Motorway Patrol or something like that, where if you swear excessively, they can get you for obscene language, but if you stick your finger up at them, that's not illegal, and so that's what they do. They just do a ton of that, and I'm like, I can just see Yodri just like giving all the paladins middle finger and like, it's not against law, it's offensive.
And basically, there would be a lot of things around horses.
Okay.
Yeah, but I believe they also put down there is also what the intent of the sign is.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you would actually do that. I just had this very amusing imagination, for lack of a better word, of you doing something very not banal, not harmful, but funny. Like, say they found a particular dance, they didn't like it.
Do something water related on the fire genasi.
Yeah, erect a fountain in the middle of their parade path or something. Open up the fire hydrant, that kind of thing.
Well, that would be fun.
Remember what happened last time someone tried to mess with the paladin?
I meant
Yeah, he got so pissed off he changed race.
He went from a water genasi to a fire genasi.
Oh no, do you want to change him back to water?
No, his next step is becoming a Nova.
Yeah, no, we don't want to do that. I'm a dragon and I don't want to do that.
Okay, so as we're past 10:30, this is a good point for us to look at closing the night.
Yep.
Did you want to read the letter you got for
Is
the
it
others?
appropriate to the story at this stage?
While they're sort of resting and doing stuff, and that story could have come through.
So it's more of a background because it was a letter from Calcrix to Thala. It was just kind of more like, because Calcrix is always writing letters, so I always thought I might write down some of these letters just so that you can see how they are. I'm just worried it's a little bit long because I tried to edit it down, but I did it at the last minute.
Do you want to email it to us all? That'd be better.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, I guess.
No,
She gets to say it in character,
Okay.
and at least then it's also.
But I can always leave it to the start of the next game if it's a bit late for everyone. We could open the next game with it, unless you want to hear it.
Well, you did work on it, and I was going to ask you: is everyone happy to hear the letter?
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear it. It is long though, is anything I noticed?
It shouldn't be because it's spoken. Yeah.
She can paraphrase if she feels like it.
So it says, "Favourable tidings, my dear friend Thala. How I miss your companionship and good humour, but most of all, the soothing sound of your flute and the soft serenade of your voice, as we'd enjoy a late evening coffee and cookies after tending to your tree. Though we are a long way from that time, those memories grant me a semblance of tranquillity I have not known since the first night I cuddled up between Zal and Cheval after their group freed me from my cruel captors. The feeling of Cheval's warmth, Jeff snoring softly, his beard fluttering in and out, his jar of dirt clutched tightly to his chest, Candu standing so immovable and tall on night watch, and Emdrak lamenting the loss of his drums in disturbed slumber. I remembered realising at one point Zal observing me. She pushed over a piece of small fruitcake. It wasn't as good as cookies, but as we quietly nibbled it together, I knew I was safe. After returning to the tomb in Yalarum and completing Redrian's quest, I remember how thoroughly disheartened I felt. Not because the investigation had failed. Through my friendship with Herman, we'd done really well. It was Shofa's decision to leave that made my heart hurt. I could not fathom why Redrian sent me to you until I entered your grove. Just the sight of your tree, so grand, so majestic, but also full of the knowledge you and your clan members had spent generations teaching it. To someone as endlessly curious as myself, it was the perfect distraction from the woe of losing my good friend and being separated from my family, Zal and the others being on another quest. But you, Thala, you healed me. I met a kindred spirit, just as curious, just as fearless, but also kind, compassionate and generous. Without your help, I would never have figured out how to add the healing properties to my cookies, even if we caused more than one minor explosion in the kitchen. I write of these memories because I needed to cheer myself up. You see, recently it happened again. You probably remember my distraught letter after the incident with the greeting party in our first foray under the sea to find the evil tongue source causing such disharmony and war among the peoples of the sea. My companions mistook them for enemies, and to my shame, I too did not take a moment to consider a non-deadly initial approach. We decimated them, literally, as you should recall from my letter. Only afterwards did we realise that they were diplomatic representatives there to greet us. The horror of that moment of discovery should have been an unforgettable lesson. Thankfully, my good friend Lure was able to use a spell to resurrect them. I was so grateful that this terrible catastrophe could be undone. But I've been learning from Brother Drazzle that just because there's magic that can undo some mistakes, the consequences can be more burdensome than we imagine. And sometimes nothing can be done. A lesson the gracious Nyx, Queen of Darkness, taught me while I was there. A brutal lesson under any circumstance, usually accompanied by grief and regret, but thankfully in her calignosis, said that wrong, wisdom, but it means dark, because she's a Queen of Darkness. Honor Nyx was very gentle in her demonstration. You would think after all I have experienced and the people I have known, the mentors I've been fortunate to have, I would know better. What happened? I can't imagine you yelling at my letter. We are on the Isle of Dread. With grievous disappointment, I have to report that I have not yet managed to make friends with a Tyrannosaurus Rex and ride one. The next letter will be different. Lost my spot, because I'm almost at the end. But I did feed a whole herd of Axbeaks cinnamon milk. You know, the special coffee I told you to give Chocobo. We are making our way to the centre as a part of our quest. We finally managed to cross a bridge to the centre, and we were attacked by giant fin-backed dinosaurs. Unfortunately, our party, like yours, is very effective at combat, and the outcome was fatal for all 6. Moments later, I revisited the horror and despair of the culmination of battle with the greeting party under the sea. We found nests, multiple nests with eggs. They were parents, Thala, protecting their babies. My heart is broken and I am full of shame. Sorry.
You get sad.
Role playing.
Yep.
When will I learn how to avoid these kinds of mistakes? Is it worth learning resurrect spells like Lure? Are such spells an easy fix that will one day cost too much because they trade reckless reaction for a careful learned approach? Is there a spell or spells that will help me do both the fix but gain the information I need to avoid these outcomes? With what advice, dearest, beautiful and wise Thala, can you give with your druidic perspective of the realm? I am rethinking my training. Perhaps a different school of magic, a druid like you, a warlock like Lure, something else. Aside from this tragic experience, I can at least report that we are doing well. My spirit may be hurting, but I am well. My wings still aches from that day on the Master's battlefield when Eep rescued me. Thank goodness for Eep. She is well and says Eep. Haha. Well, she says Eep a lot, but there's different tones, and I know this one means hi. How are my family? Do you know? I heard rumour that Redrian may have temporarily reassigned you, perhaps to the venerable Dark Queen. Please get in touch. So, Calcrix is not sure where Thala is. And you get an idea that Calcrix is one of the reasons why she's doing all of the research that she's doing now, and that is because she doesn't want to outright kill everybody. So she's been a lot more careful about the choices because she'll not accidentally kill a child giant and things like that. But she's also looking at maybe retraining herself. So at the moment, I think she's currently a sorcerer. So she's looking at whether or not she becomes a druid or something else. So in terms of what the party gets from that is that Calcrix is possibly going to be changing quite a bit over the next little bit. And you may not always rely on her to strike with deadly force. So, yeah, be careful of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's sometimes interesting to have the object lesson of think before you act, instead of just having, yes, creature coming towards me, murder it and then move on.
Yeah, well, we certainly have that. Don't think.
We
Yeah.
do have that goodness death, but we are less trigger happy than we used to be as well.
Mm.
They've been learning the same thing the same hard way.
Yeah, yeah.
Considering they just murdered a whole bunch of manticores the same way.
Yeah, well, you know, and that's kind of one of her concerns.
We didn't intend to murder like 6 of them.
Yeah, no, and she didn't intend, but she feels the consequences of these eggs, which are the last of their kind, and now without parents to raise them.
It's also that you're dealing at death too easily.
Yeah, and she's having, even though she's capable of dealing out the death very easily, she's having, as you said, the crisis of faith.
And one of the tenets of entropy is death should have meaning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so this is the influence of the Queen of Darkness
So
on
death for sustenance is different to death for slaughter.
Mm.
Getting, well, basically showered in manticore blood isn't a fun thing.
No. So that might be something you guys can relate to in her. But it also gives you an idea that there's a good possibility Redrum reassigned Thala. And because the Queen of Darkness is linked to the Lady of
The Dark Lady.
the Dark Lady, and because I think the Dark Lady
Is a shadow dragon.
is a shadow dragon, and they have connections to the Fey Dark, it could be that the Dark Lady found Thala in the Fey Dark where you guys were. That's why she disappeared from the Fey Dark, because she was asked and told she needed to go somewhere and portal elsewhere. So that kind of gives you a closure, I guess, on a character level of where Thala might be. Not that she's gone for good, but she might be reassigned.
Yeah. And maybe, so you've read this to us.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of make it, so even though she probably wouldn't have read the letter to you direct, she would have probably told you this information, but it was easier for me to write it as a letter because when I'm working on my character background, I tend to work on it as the letters that they all send each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it makes it flow a lot easier than information dump.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
but
I
if
really appreciate that.
I was going to try and make it shorter, but I had a hard time getting going today.
On the other question about, like sorcerer or whatever, I think it's more about having other options.
Yeah.
Not just having death-dealing spells, but having spells that do other things that don't deal death.
Yeah.
When Calcrix first came in, Calcrix was still learning how to deal with things, and it was the simpler option for the player to have a set of spells that didn't change.
Yeah.
But as the players now had a lot more time to experience the game, now is available to learn new parts of it.
So part of this is that foreshadowing that I'm changing my spell list and I might be changing my class.
Yeah.
And a lot of the new spells that I'm looking at are things like hideous laughter rather than that irresistible dance, rather than straight death, but also things like suggestion, mass suggestion, misty step, invisibility.
Yeah, there's similar spells to what I've got.
Things,
things
that aren't necessarily going to kill, but
and to be honest, that's the spell list that will get you further in the game than Fireball, Lightning Bolt, Meteor Storm.
She's got a few of those, but not.
So I have very few damage doing spells.
Those damage spells are great in the war aspect of the story, but not in the general flow of it, because you are heroes. You will be able to defeat most opponents with little effort. A lot of things will go down with a single strike.
Yeah,
we
found that.
Yep, and so we need the return of Jeff.
Yeah. I thought you might like the touch of the original group rather than just the group we have now. Admittedly, I had to ask Martin to remind me a little bit about the original group, but he was able to recall that rather easily, and that helped jog my memory.
Well, people know what I'm like with remembering things. So, Ross, you've played various characters for various lengths of time, which I can tell you after the session.
Yep.
I was going to say, it's
Well,
also
I
just
see.
going to mark the 200th game for me.
200th game Barrior, not for later. So I was going to go to end credits and chat afterwards.
Yep.
Just before end credits, if in sort of while we have this week of downtime,
Yeah,
And
no,
I'm
if it's
learning.
just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's killing my hands.
after
and-
learning this sort of story from Calcrix, I'll sort of get her aside at some point and tell her the story of the floating rock temple and how I've made events.
Yep.
Because I don't think Calcrix knows that story. She might have.
I think I actually, Thala does, but Calcrix doesn't, I think. I can probably look it
I
up.
don't think Thala knew the
I'll borrow your grey pencil.
kind of approved
It's just easy to
version.
do one.
But Zal will tell Calcrix the whole sort of what happened, how long I've had it, the shame after years of sort of realising what I did, that kind of thing.
So it was the floating
The floating rock temple.
rock temple. Because Martin can likely look up the episode and I could probably watch that.
Do you remember which one it was in relation to? What you were doing at the time?
I remember the reparations with Thala, but I don't remember the original incident.
That's what I was asking.
Oh, sorry.
It was really early on in the campaign.
That one I remember now. Because I just needed to. It was the Temple of the Moving Stones.
Temple of Moving Stones.
Yes.
Why does that ring a bell?
Because the Friday group ended up having Anton deal with the Black Earth at their own temple, the Temple of the Moving Stones. So it was more Monastery of Moving Stones.
Not
All right, actually, is that what I wrote down?
Or
Sacred Stone Monastery.
yeah, Sacred Stone Monastery. Yes, the Temple of Moving Stones was a subsection of it,
Okay.
which M's character pretty much stole from and killed the people with what she stole from them. So that was an interesting side.
Yeah.
And that was probably session number 2 or 3 in this
Oh, okay.
campaign.
Okay.
Yes, the stealing of the dagger.
So once I got the reference around it, I could remember the event.
Thala did see the reparations, so I can check on my notes for that, and that'll give Calcrix. Unless you want to role play it next game, I'm happy to just look it up, and then
I'm happy for you to look it up. I just meant
Yep.
more as a moral support. Zal
Yeah.
tells his story of making amends.
Hey, it is a good pull out of something that happened over 100 sessions previously.
Mm-hmm.
It's good when you actually have examples.
Exactly.
Okay,
And I thought it was quite relevant.
it was
It is.
extremely relevant. Because it was another think before you leap incident.
Yeah. And it also gives, so Calcrix is like, thank you for sharing that, because it gives me hope that I might be able to one day make my own reparations. And I can do some research into how to do that, which is written all over my journal at the moment. Fix the poor dinosaurs you killed.
So does anyone have anything else they want to add before we go to end credits?
No, I can't really think of anything.
Okay, so I'll give you some more info afterwards. So end credits it is.